Good evening. How is everyone? Hope sound's okay. Hope picture's okay. And I hope you're all okay. Boris has been taken into intensive... Yeah, he has. Yeah, Boris. Our leader, our governor, has been taken into intensive care. I think they should really give him a few days off. I mean, the guy's ill, you know. Unfortunately, we haven't got a deputy prime minister at the moment, so perhaps they really should appoint one and let the guy have a day off. What do you reckon? At least a couple of days. Hi Helen. Hi JD. Hi Viola Moore. Hi Tiffany. Hi Helen. How are you all? Hope you're having a nice Groundhog Day. Hi Mandy Hall. It's kind of what it feels like at the moment, right? It's just every day's the same. The weekends kind of don't feel the same because they just feel like every other day at the moment. It's very strange. But as long as we're all fit and well, that's the main thing, isn't it? And, the great work that our health services do, they're the people really that deserve the medals, aren't they? So, I'm the only person that says it right, Viola. Yeah, I can't think how else you would say it really, apart from voila, which wouldn't really sound right. Yes, Boris is still at the hospital, I believe. I think he's okay. I don't think there's anything too serious, but I think he's still got a cough. He's had the coronavirus for about a week, I believe, and he's still suffering the effects of it. I think he's got a bad cough, so he is still in the hospital at the moment. You can just imagine, can't you? People constantly coming up to him and Boris, what do we do about this? What do we do about this? It's probably the last thing he wants to do is to talk to people at the moment. You know what it's like when you're ill, isn't it? When you're really ill. Even in his position, everyone needs bed days and duvet days, don't they? Right, so, of course, you should all know. Hi, Welsh lady. You should all know what we're doing tonight. So, we're going to take a real close look and I've put everything that we've got so far pretty much into a timeline. Now, obviously, what's been released in this case, the affidavit, is probably not going to be 100% correct, right? There's going to be, they're going on evidence that they found and bits and bobs of what they've pieced together. But obviously, they may not be 100% right. I know there's a lot of people that believe, that's not the case, and things may well, coming up to trial, by the time it reaches trial, things may change considerably. Also, this, of course, was put out end of February, which is quite a while before Gannon was found, and before probably a lot of other evidence came to light as well. So, but we're gonna take a deep dive into it. We're gonna do it on a kind of timeline basis. So, beginning 25th of January is where I'm gonna start, which is where some of her Google searches started. Hi, Lady D. I think that gives a real good insight into the position that she was in her head before all this started, really, which is key to the kind of person, they call her a woman, that she is, and maybe why she did what she did, and it may give us a clue as to exactly what happened. So we're going to take a look at that. I'm going to be bringing on Kimberly, the wonderful Kimberly, and Firefly as well. So it's going to be the full team looking closely at this and see what we can and dig up. And you guys, of course, in chat can, of course, join in and participate as well. Hi Guernsey Girl, hi Lady D, hi Chial Johnson. So yeah, I've spent about, I think it was about 6, 7 hours today putting all this together into a timeline. I think it just makes it easier when you've got a case and you've got the evidence. It's really a lot easier if you can establish a timeline of events. It just kind of makes reading the whole thing a little bit easier, I think. So we're going to do that. So I'm just pottering on really until Kimberly or Firefly are able to make it, because I know they're just a little bit behind today, so they've been a little bit busy. Hi voices, so you'll have to hear me rambling on for a few more minutes, because I think really want their perspective on. I really want a woman's perspective on the kind of searches that she did, particularly her Google searches that she did 25th, 26th, 27th. I think maybe a female might be able to give a little bit more insight into maybe what she was thinking and her psychological perspective, if you like. So, are you all working from home now? Or are you still stuck in an office? Or even worse than that, have you been told to take gardening leave? Or I'm currently managing to work from home. It's a bit limiting, obviously, to what you can do, but it's kind of working at the moment. Total change of life, though, isn't it? It's just bizarre. And I can see this going on for a little while as well, the way it's going. Oh, Helen Riley, you're on sick leave. Ah, Viola's doing home health care. Shial? Is that, am I pronouncing that right? Shial. Is that Shial or Shal? It's got an I in it, so it's got to be Shial. Shial's working from home. Voices is stuck at home, busy as heck though. It's bizarre. Also, I think little slow down. It's good for just a bit, but it's getting old now. Yeah. I wonder if this is going to change us all as well, going forward, whether it's going to change society and just the way that we all operate, really. Hi, Firefly. And maybe there will things that maybe we took for granted before, maybe we'll appreciate certain things in our lives a little bit more than maybe we did before. Chi-Chi. Okay, I'll call you Chi-Chi. That's easier for me as well. Hi, Mama Lady. Yeah, that's a very good point. When the full discovery, I mean, this is an affidavit from a particular officer, isn't it? I don't know. Presumably, can you have multiple affidavits put forward? I don't know if that's the case, or whether they put, the agencies investigating put together a single affidavit and put it in front of the judge. I don't know whether they have multiple. But yeah, obviously this is just the first part of the timeline as well, isn't it? It's it only goes up to a certain date, and it doesn't include a lot of everything that's been gathered later on. I mean, obviously Gannon's autopsy is gonna be huge. It's gonna be more forensic evidence on there, but obviously it's going to be even more horrific as well to know exactly what happened to him. I just can't imagine. Obviously, everyone's putting a little bit of guesswork together. Obviously, we know that a gun was mentioned and a knife and a blunt instrument, and she's being charged for use of all of those. So, God only knows what that woman did to that poor kid. Of course, we know he was stuffed in a suitcase as well. There's nothing good the stuff that you're gonna have to hear in that trial. I imagine it's just going to be heartbreaking, and certainly for his family. I mean, I can't even imagine having to sit and listen to some of the things they're going to have to hear. Okay, what I do, I might just make a start just while we're waiting for Kimberly. What tell you what I'll do? I'll show you the exact location where they found the um, the piece of wood that had Gannon's blood on it. This is also the area that T returned to. Well, they know that she went to on the 28th in her Tiguan, and also she returned to this area also on the 31st when she rented a Nissan Altima, because obviously her Tiguan got seized, so she then rented another car. That's the only other thing with this case as well. There's sort of there's four, maybe even five vehicles involved. There's only two or three of them that are key to the investigation, but it does make things a little bit confusing. But let's just take a look. I'm just going to I'll show you exactly where the information was given in the affidavit, and this shows, as I say, exactly where the particle board was found. With Gannon's blood on it, and it's where they believe that Letecia initially dumped Gannon's body, very close to that area as well. So just to give you a point of reference, really, this is let me get rid of those horrible blue lines a moment. So this is Colorado Springs, this area here, this big area here is it's quite a big area, isn't it? It's huge. This is Colorado Springs here. So you've got Colorado Springs Airport here. Gannon's house is down here, 6627 Mandan Drive. It's a bit blurry, is it? Yeah, it may not be. It may focus in, I'm not sure. This is 6627 Mandan Drive. See Gannon's house. Colorado Springs Airport. This is Colorado Springs area here. And the initial search and where they found the particle of the wood particle with Gannon's blood on is here. It's north of Palmer Lake, just off of South Perry Park Road, I believe, in southern Douglas County. So there's kind of like a bend in the road here. Palmer Lake's just down there, south of it. And I've matched this up to the affidavit. This is the precise location of where they, as I say, where they found the piece of wood, and they believe that Gannon was initially dumped on the 28th, January 28th. So it was a day after Roderick's video, the neighbour video. It was just in this area here, just off of the road. So this, I think, this is where you had the snow cover, and this is exactly where they were doing the fingertip searches in the snow, which was seen on some of the news articles. And as I say, it's pretty much in this area here. So presumably it's going to be off the road somewhere, behind the trees, in the bush, in the rough land. So as I say, point of reference, if you're looking back, there's the bend in the road, the South Perry Park Road that we were just looking at. So that's where evil stepmother chose to, they believe, initially dump Gannon's body. It would have been somewhere in this area. somewhere in that area. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring on Firefly, and we'll start going through the timeline. Beginning from the 25th. So give me 1 second, guys, and I will call up Firefly. No, don't want to do that. And we want to go in here. Watch out, here comes the mass hole. Yeah, mass hole alert. Hello. Ooh, what do we got here? Okay, hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Firefly. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you? Well, now you can hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Hello, everybody. So good to see everybody.
it's great. Can everyone in chat hear hear Firefly okay? You want to be called Firefly? Are you happy called
They
Firefly
can
or
call me. They can call me Debbie. They can call me Masshole.
Debbie
But
Manhole Firefly?
yeah,
Um,
pick your pick. Just
yeah.
don't call me Teabag.
No, no, definitely don't want to be called that. So yeah, I really wanted to get where I was going to start. Actually, on the timeline, it's kind of from the 25th. So this is a couple of days, obviously before.
Right.
As we know, the 27th was the day that they believe that Gannon was murdered. Obviously, we'll get to that in a moment, but because they picked up on some Google searches from
Right.
her phone, I believe, from the 25th. So I'll just run through a few of them. I just wanted to get your input, obviously being a woman, your perspective on what sort of mindset you think this woman was in, or what the hell she was thinking on doing some of these searches.
Well, I guess when we're talking about Teabag, we'll use the word woman loosely, but we'll use it for this
Yeah,
instance. Yeah. So
yeah.
I have allergies. So if I'm sniffing, I'm not on anything. But seriously, she reminds me almost. A lot of people say Jodi Arias, but she reminds me of Diane Downs too.
Mm.
Very bizarre. Like what intrigues me is when she Googled looking for a repair kit for the suede sofa,
Mm.
not a carpet, a suede sofa. I'm very interested in.
And no, there's been no mention of the sofa, has there, up until now? Not in the affidavit, I don't think. Other than that, if she searched for that, that does seem odd. Okay, but anyway, yeah, let me go through these searches. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay, so we've got find real. So these are on the 25th of January. So this is 2 days before. Obviously, as we know, we believe Gannon was murdered. So she's looking for find real
Mhm.
military singles.
Right,
Parenting should be 4 people, not one.
right,
I'm
right,
overdoing all the work for my stepkids and their mum doesn't help. Mum advice from stepmum. If you aren't
right,
involved in your kid's life, you are
right,
shitty. My
right,
husband's ex-wife does nothing for her kids. I think it's
right.
pretty clear what she's thinking there, right? She sounds very bitter.
Oh, Chris, that's a good word. Bitter, hateful, vengeful. She really built up a hate. The same resentment like Chris Watts had for his family. Like these people are, causing problems. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a parent, step parent. Just don't walk away like normal people. They just kill the object. And I think it was to hurt the parents, especially the husband. I think he asked for a divorce, and she's like, I'll show him, but she's not too bright. She's not too bright at all. Did a lot of stupid things.
Absolutely, yeah, it's totally. Um, thank God she was, and a lot of these
Yes.
murderers aren't, are they? They think they're very clever, don't they? But ultimately, they're not. Um,
Yeah. No, that well, you know what? It's not human nature to kill people. So you absolutely disconnect from rational thinking, and you can tell it with her. I mean, just the fact of her, let's say, I don't know, what did they say when she was at the police station sticking? I'm not going to laugh, but it's you can just picture her sticking tissues down her pants. I mean,
mm,
what are you doing?
yeah, I don't know what that was all about. Whether she thought they had DNA on there or something. I really don't know what
Maybe
she
she's
was.
trying to cover her prison wallet for when she goes into prison. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was, but still, no normal person does that. They're gonna get a warrant for your DNA anyways.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, if they want to, absolutely. Um, so other things she's looking up here. So I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a card since I raise her kids.
Right.
One day people will wish they treated you differently. Find me a rich guy who wants me to take care of his kids. Do you think she was, I mean, do you think she had plans in her head of doing something like this days before? Um, do you think
Uh,
that she wanted out and something got out of hand? She did something, lost it, and
I think, I think it was in her head that the resentment was building. This stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens over time. But I think an incident, it could have been he wasn't supposed to use a switch. Maybe he's being punished for something. I don't believe the candle story. Like I said, I don't believe he burned up any carpet because she keeps saying he turned on a candle. I have candles you turn on. It's got a switch. It's got a battery. You don't burn anything up. So I think that something. Maybe he kept saying, "I want to play it." Maybe he was, as kids do. I want to play. I want to play. On and on and on. And maybe she just snapped. The resentment and bitterness built and snapped. And I don't know. I don't know enough whether how bad she injured him that night. He was bleeding a little bit. You know what I mean?
mm,
From what I can think, but I think the majority is. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. She's googling that morning, checking on if I should leave my child alone, like a decent parent or something. But then you're plotting to kill him, and you're driving him around shopping. I don't know whether she was taking that time to think about it. She was like, should I kill him? Should I not? And uh, obviously, she decided to kill him. I mean, that's the thing. But um, I know that she did, and I'm not defending this bitch at all, believe me.
no.
But there's a conversation between Al and Landon where even Landon's going, "You need to step up." Like she's with these kids doing everything. And I'm not saying because you should do that. You're married to somebody, he's in the military, you step up. But she wasn't the person. This is Teabag. She's selfish and she's self-absorbed, and she's apparently batshit crazy. You wouldn't want to leave alone with a hamster, but
I mean, the whole thing with the officer, when she was being transported back to, was it back from North Carolina,
oh,
wasn't it? Or yeah, when
no,
she,
no, Colorado.
yeah, when she attacked the officer, didn't she, in the back of the police truck or
Yeah.
whatever it was? I mean, what the hell's that all about?
Shit, I don't know. Maybe he was making fun of, hey, you the lady that stuck the tissues in your drawers, in your pants. Um, I think once you kill somebody, I think it changes you. And maybe she always had violence in her. And this doesn't, like I said, happen in a vacuum. She was showing some signs somewhere. Look at her job history. She couldn't keep a job. You know what I mean? To save her life. That's why she's looking for these men to take care of her. Lady, do what I do and many other women. I totally support myself 100%. I work and I have back and neck issues. I work full time plus. Take care of your own ass. Don't be looking for a man to that's your first problem. But attacking the deputy out of stupidity, not looking good for her. She just lost it. She's lost all control. You can tell when she was sitting in the courtroom in the green jumpsuit.
Mm,
Oh, Chris, I've seen some evil. We've covered a lot of cases. That is the evilest pair of peepers. I wanted to jump in a vat of holy water. I wanted to eat garlic and slap crosses all over my body. The
yeah,
evil just permeates from her, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. She's got, like you say, she's got those eyes and just that look about her, isn't she? Of
Oh, evil. That's evil right
yeah,
there. Just making evil on a
absolutely.
woman too. That's evil.
Yeah, I know. It's shocking. It really is. So yeah, so she's doing all these weird searches. This is the 25th, couple of days before. I think certainly, like you were saying, that things don't happen just overnight. I think this has been in her. She's been building up this
Right.
bitterness, this anger, this
Right.
resentment that she, why am
Mhm.
I'm having to look after, Gannon, and I'm doing all the work. No one's helping me. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
Victimizing herself.
Right. Yeah.
Like you said, I strongly feel that this the whole thing started on the day before, on the Sunday, on the 26th. When we
Yep.
saw, that's what we're led to believe is the video that we saw, isn't it? That she herself
Right.
leaked out, where you see, she's reprimanding Gannon and he's crying on
Right.
his bed,
Another
and
thing.
I think something's
Another
happened
stupid thing.
there.
Oh, definitely something happened there. I know most of us. I know people in the chat. I can't see the chat, but hello, everybody. I know a lot of you have children. Um, my sons, if they ever cried like that, are really hurt. They just didn't cry. It's the tone in their voice that you can tell. And then when he's like, he didn't even say like Pinky swear the poor kid. And he did sound short of breath. I think she got mad and punched him, and whether she hit him in the stomach or maybe hit him a couple times, gave him a bloody nose. I don't know, but she definitely injured him.
Absolutely.
The next day, she might not have wanted to get caught. She might have been afraid he was going to tell somebody.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. I
You
agree.
know,
And also, I strongly feel that she potentially went out on that Monday, 27th, when we saw her leave. I think
right?
she was maybe intending to get rid of Gannon then, because reason being, she left her phone at home. She did not take her phone out with her.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Why would she not have done that?
Right. You're right. And she, went to Petco twice. I mean, she wanted to be seen, and maybe she was hoping because, as people have said, he looked drugged going to the car. I think she overdosed him on something, and she's at Petco like the tea bag she is, Wiley, looking out the window like a crazy woman because she's hoping he died, and he didn't. That's why she had to kill him so fast when she got home. What a terrible woman! What an evil bitch! Honest to God,
Absolutely.
terrible.
I think she may have even, I mean, it's just a theory, but she may have possibly even drugged him or something. I found it strange that she brought up those texts as well about the bath salts and that stuff. I don't know if you know about that, but she put some texts out talking about bath salts and how they were, some people used it for drugs and
Yeah,
didn't work.
Teabag's calling up. I mean, she is a total idiot. I got to give her this. She's right in the Chris Watts. I'm a dumbass murderer. Really, and thank God, as you said, for that, because when you call,
She's left clues dotted around all over the place, isn't she? She's thinking she's been clever to cover her tracks, but she
yeah,
hasn't.
well,
There's
even if
so
she covered them well, she didn't cover them all that well.
No, she didn't. So right, so just moving on. Let's just start to go through a little bit of this timeline then. So
Yeah,
yeah, you've got those weird searches. 25th. Clearly, she's bitter. She's unhappy.
yeah,
She doesn't want to be doing
yeah,
what she's doing. Um,
yeah.
Clearly resentful towards Landon, and
Children. Oh yeah, hates her.
she's got real issues, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
so Sunday 26th. So this is the day that day before they believe Landon was
The
sorry,
hike. Yeah, the
Gannon was
hike
murdered.
day.
Yeah, the hike day. That's it.
Another class. Weird enough.
Yeah, which sounds like all like stories now, doesn't it? They all sound like cover stories for them finding blood, because she obviously knew they were going to find blood in her in the house. So she's come up with all these little stories to try and cover each little one.
Right. Yeah, she kind of went. She kind of pulled the trigger a little too soon. She was defending herself before there was a need to, which made her look even more guilty because she is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're saying there's blood somewhere and the cops know that you have no way of knowing, you're just cornering yourself. But
Yeah.
Sunday was there was a catalyst somewhere. That was like the main day to me. And you're right. She was on a hate fest that day. It hit a core that day for some
Mm,
reason.
yeah. And that was the so apparently based on text messages that she sent to Al, she was saying that
Right.
Gannon was up most of that evening with a stomach problem.
Yeah.
And
Do that.
she texts Al and says, "I'm just going to give them an excuse at work and stay with him." So she'd already, for, for for whatever reason, she'd already decided on that Sunday that Gannon wasn't going to go to school and that she was
Yeah.
going to stay home with him. It's
Oh
almost
yeah.
like it's almost like premeditation slightly, isn't it? That she knows she can be
Yeah.
alone with
Mhm.
Gannon.
Well, and you gotta love to go back a second. When she calls up the school, this is another one of her batshit crazy. She says, "My stepfather, I can't come in. My stepfather got killed by a car." But that happened like 8, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, what a shitty thing to say about a family member.
Yeah, I've heard that. And also she because I've been looking at everything today. So she sent that text to her employer at 4:37 in the morning on Monday, like you're saying that her stepdad was killed after being hit by a car, and she wouldn't be able to be
I
at
think
work that day.
she had been up all night. From what I read, I mean, her last text was like 1 in the morning. Her Google one something, and then she's at 4 something. I don't think she even slept, Chris.
No, I don't think she did. Over those 3 or 4 days, it sounds like she was up from noon till midnight, literally
maybe,
every day, texting early hours of the morning. You know?
maybe they ought to check her for a Thrive patch.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so Monday. Now they found some more searches from her phone, Google searches. So
Right.
this is now the 27th. So we're now on the Monday,
The day of.
on the day they believe it all happened. Yeah. So so 9 minutes past midnight or 12:09 a.m. on that Monday, she's googling. First thing she's googling is my son burned the carpet. How do I fix it? Now,
Right.
does that lead weight to the fact that there may have been some kind of burn there, or is she dropping in a little
Yeah, I think
lie there, do you think?
that's a lie. I just don't believe you don't turn on a candle. And you know what? Most of us, I'm the Yankee Candle queen. I have more candles in my house than you shake a stick at. I'm surprised the fire department doesn't show up when I light them all. When I spill a candle over, and I'm sure most people have had it, the wax puts it out. It's not going to start a fire.
That's right.
If anybody started a fire, she did. It's a cover story. Gannon didn't start anything, and I just firmly believe that. I don't think it had anything to do with him.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work out in her head
Mhm.
why she would have concocted this story about the candle.
Well, I think it was more of a built-up resentment. Gannon had, I think, ADHD, from what I heard, and I had a child with it. And medicated, they're fine, but sometimes they're a little. They do. They love, but they're very easy to focus. Like they love video games, and if you take that from them, they can get a little wily because it's just the way they are. And I think she wasn't equipped. And funny, she's in education. That just makes me want to have a drink when I hear that. That's a scary thing. You should know even more how to handle a child with ADHD. And I think maybe she got mad at something and took his switch, and you know he just kept maybe keeping at her about it, and then she flipped out, and I think she might have hit him before the candle made up incident. Then she's like, "Oh my god, I flipped out on this kid. Now I got to come up with a reason." So there comes the candle story. That's why it makes no sense. The candle story.
Yeah. Of course, it's all built. It's based around or linked to this video, isn't it, that she leaked? That
Yeah. Or
looks like it's that
walk.
Sunday night, doesn't it? Because on the TV they're talking about Kobe. Was it Kobe Bryant? Was it Kobe Bryant? He died
Kobe
that day.
Bryant. Yeah, she was more upset about his death than Gannon being missing.
Yeah,
Nasty
and
bag.
yeah, and then there's the possibility that you may hear Gannon saying, "I'm bleeding," which you can kind of just hear. Obviously, this whole thing leaves weight to the fact that he may well have said that. So there is a
I
possibility
hear
that she
that.
may have injured him, yeah, at that
Yeah,
time.
I I have a really good pair of headphones. I have some Bose headphones, and I cranked up my phone, and I hear him say that. And I wasn't I told myself I'm just going to be objective, and I hear him say that.
So something's happened then. Something's happened on that Sunday night, isn't it?
He
Going
could have
into early
spilled
as
over
a
some
Monday.
water and she flipped out. It doesn't take much for these evil tea bags to flip out on you, especially when she's built herself up into this hateful rage. I think he might have spilled water or something. It's got nothing to do with a candle. So I have had some of Al's family heard say, yeah, there was a candle and it caused the fire. But she's at the fire department come over and investigated, but there was no evidence. The carpet's gone. So the only person saying there was a candle fire is Lion Teabag. So you know what I'm saying? And the whole humidifier thing, if you read the house's description, it comes with a central air and a central dehumidifier.
Mm.
So it was going to get dehumidified anyways.
Yeah, she was googling about
She
smoke and
made too
stuff,
much
and she.
out of it.
Yeah. Do you think maybe there
Made
was
herself,
blood,
yeah,
just blood on the carpet, and
and the couch, I think.
yeah, and she's trying to, I've got to create a story here to try and make a reason for me getting rid of this piece of
Absolutely.
carpet or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because carpet left the house.
Yeah.
That
It
piece of
did.
carpet, that iguano. All I could think of was an iguana. I mean, that iguano, the guy that she gives her code with nobody home, some stranger at midnight, she gets on the side of the road doing construction. That
That,
raped her, by the way.
yeah.
To let in the house. I mean, this goes to show you why normal people don't commit murder, but anybody out there that's having an issue, don't kill anybody because see how stupid you get. You don't want to look that stupid.
No, that's the only thing that's the thing though is like these people when they come out of these lies, there's always often there's some kind of truth in there, and like even if they're the most outrageous lies, and that's what worries me when she's talking about this Iguado and
God, I'm
be,
sorry.
being
Iguano.
raped, and I mean she even mentioned anal penetration. I just I hope to God that um, Gannon wasn't didn't have blood or something
Right,
leaking from
right. Well, they can tell
from
not
certain,
I think.
yeah, from certain places. Maybe he had intestinal injuries or something. I'm just trying to think of why she would come up with these ridiculous
Well,
stories.
you're talking to a woman who's sticking tissues down her pants at a police station, so it might have just sounded good. She might have wanted to make it look like, with liars, and we see those most of them, the more sensational they can make it, the more they think they're believable. So she's like, if I make this whole like anal intrusion rape thing, this sounds like so sensational. Maybe they'll believe me. But it's the opposite effect. It's just insane. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, and I've heard some people say, as a theory, possibly she was having an affair. Maybe she was caught. Maybe Gannon saw her or something like that. And maybe this Aguado represents some guy that she's having an affair with. But as far as I know, they didn't. There was no one else seen going in the
Yeah,
property.
there
So
is no like iguana. I'm gonna call him because it's easier to say. There's no iguana in this equation. Was she having an affair? I don't think really she was. I think when you're hating people and you're in a real resentful space, just my opinion, it's really not. You're not in the mindset for any type of relationship. Um, I don't think she was, but I think she was looking for one. That's why she was on, as you said, with the Google searches. And thank you for your hard work, Chris. I know that's no easy feat to get it into this woman's life. You know, to understand that she's looking for someone to take care of her, and she thought Al was going to take care of her, but you know, it's not man's job. I hate to say it, to totally take care of women in this day and age. You have to take care of yourself too. It's a two-way street. And when you
yeah,
marry somebody with children and you're a step parent, I haven't been married to somebody, but I've been with boyfriends that have had children, and I treat them as my own. So, and even though we broke up, there's still when I see their children, I still love them and I still hug them and I say hello. So I don't get the hate for Gannon. I think it was more Gannon paid for her hate of Landon and her problems with Al, that she had built up a hate to them, and it's spilled out on, because it's easier to pick on a child, isn't it, than to
of
go up
course.
against a teabag.
Yeah, of
Sorry.
course. Yeah, no, I think you're right. He's become the unfortunate victim of her vicious, you know,
Yep.
bitterness and
Hmm.
anger towards the world, really.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then who would go? I don't know. I mean, I don't see. Even when she was younger, she still had those creepy eyes. She must have really pulled a wool over Al's eyes because I just don't think see the attraction in her. I think Landon's beautiful, and I'm trying to be objective. I just don't think T's a very attractive woman, but maybe that's because I know she's a murdering teabag. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah.
She's black eyes even back then when she look at when she was younger and she was on the what's that site sugardaddy.com
Oh, Sugar Daddy, yeah. Apparently she was on there, wasn't she? Yeah.
as a young person. She's not looking to now. She could have if she was in the education field, which I'm stunned. I still think she's got a twin out there somewhere teaching because it can't be her. Not with the way she speaks and spells, but you've got a daughter. Don't you want to teach her to be independent and take care of herself? And if you meet somebody and they help support you and it's a 50-50, whatever, that's fine. But she's looking to just sponge up. What do they call them? Gold digger. Okay. There you go. She
Gold
wants to be a
digger.
gold digger.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right there. So moving on that morning, there's a couple of things which stuck out which were very odd.
Okay.
08, this is on the Monday, 27th, 08:13 and 08:17. She took two
Okay.
photos of Gannon sleeping in his bed and lying. You could visibly on the photos, his Nintendo Switch is visible lying next to him on the bed.
Yeah.
Now, of course,
Sage.
we know that Al said it's of very high importance to Gannon. He obviously loved his Nintendo Switch. Why is she
As all
taking
kids
pictures
do.
of her son lying in bed or stepson lying in bed with a Nintendo
Sage.
Switch next to him?
Sage. So that when he turns up dead, you'll see he was alive that morning.
Yeah. And do you think maybe she's like, well, he loved his Switch. His Switch is gone, because
Well,
they never found the Switch, did they? Oh,
no,
he's took his
you're right.
Switch, so he must have
Yeah,
gone.
absolutely. You're
He
right.
must have run
Yep.
off.
I have two boys, and believe me, Nintendo was the big thing. And if they had disappeared, that would have. You're right. That would have went with them. So
Yeah,
I think that's her intent
yeah.
to
Uh,
say, "Look, he's still alive,"
Mm, absolutely.
and he's spin, so you can't tell if he's drugged or if he's hurt or
No, well, he's definitely. We'll speak about that in a minute. But okay, so at 9:56, this is very significant. 9:56 that morning, she
right.
locks her phone. She locks her phone and she leaves it at home. Which, according to
Uh-uh.
her use and history of her phone, she was obviously on it all the time. They pretty much gathered.
Right. Yeah.
I believe that she obviously left that phone at home for a reason. She did not want to be traced where she
Yes.
was going. I believe maybe her plan was to try and
Absolutely.
to kill Gannon and dump his body that during that
Yeah.
time. I really do believe that. For
I
some
do too.
for some reason it didn't happen, or for some reason she had to bring his remains back. But I think she had it in her head to do it then.
Yeah, I think the overdose didn't work. I think she gave him a ton of whatever she gave him. And I think she really thought it was going to work, and it didn't. That's why and she's looking at Petco to make sure we don't get out of the car. Because why do you look panicked if somebody can't move? Do you know what I'm saying? So she gave him a lot of medication and thought that's why it was gone so long, like 4 hours, thinking, oh, he'll just because you know what, you got to put yourself, like you said, in these position of murderers. Most murderers don't want to make a mess. They don't want to have to kill somebody by stabbing or shooting. You know, a lot of back in the 1800s, especially women, they used poison because it's a hands-off type murder. You know what I mean? So she's thinking, I just want him to die. I just want him to like the drugs. And then that didn't happen. And then she was probably even madder, like Chris Watts with my daughters woke up again. It's like, now I got to kill him, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I agree with you there. And she probably wasn't happy about it.
No.
All
No.
that blood, it looked like a rage kill.
Absolutely. Right. Let me just see if I can invite Kimberly. I know she's not in the chat as yet,
Oh,
but just going to see if I can invite her in a moment.
invite. I love Kimberly. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is. She is.
As are you. You're awesome too. And so is everybody in chat. We have like the best people. Smart, insightful. They don't like tea bags either.
No,
That's why I love them.
we don't like.
And I love the name Teabag. Dad with the phone, I got to give him a shout out. He started calling her Teabag, and that is just perfect. Can you get
Yeah,
any better of a name than to call her Teabag?
absolutely. That's perfect.
It
Perfect.
really is.
Perfect nickname for her. So, okay, so she's locked her phone. She's
Yep.
left it at home. They know this. That's the depth of the forensic analysis they can do on phones now. They can even tell when the phone was locked, when it was
Wow.
unlocked, battery
That's
life,
unreal.
everything. It's amazing. Um, okay, so of course then 10:16 we see T and Gannon leave, and this is in Al's Nissan, the red Nissan. Now he's clearly struggling, right? He's clearly
Yeah, he is.
something not right with him.
Nah, he's Logie. He's Logie.
I mean, even Roderick said he
He,
looked drugged or
he,
something.
does, he looks sedated.
Mm, yeah, there's something not right. I mean, the fact that she has to, I'll just put it up on the screen. So this is the Frontier. For anyone who's confused about the vehicle, this is ours. It's very similar to this. It's not going to be exact. Might be a different type, model,
Right.
or year, but he had a red Nissan Frontier. Um, and yeah,
And
I
I just
believe.
need to say, where did Teabag get her driving license from? I mean, a Cracker Jack box? You see her driving that thing? Oh my God. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, what when she's trying to. Well, the fact that she has to, back up to the house. I said it straight away. I said something, something clearly, obviously not right with him. He's an
Yeah.
11-year-old kid. Why can't he? He looks like he's either drugged or he's holding his stomach. I mean, obviously she's made up this story of
He looks a
he's got
little
a bad
hunched
stomach.
over.
Yeah,
Because my boys always run to the car. They're just, active, especially at 11, 12, 13. They're just little active things. And they don't walk to cars. But she pulled up. She like went across the street, right up over the snowbank. She looked angry, driving angry on the street. She was angry. I could tell that by her driving.
yeah. And so Gannon, obviously, as I say, she'd already texted ahead that he wasn't coming to school that day.
Yeah.
Now she then at 10:37
Yeah.
10:37, a message was sent from Gannon's phone to Harley's phone saying, Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me. So she's just
That's,
reaffirming that she's left her phone
mhm.
at home, which, of course,
Right.
is highly suspicious why she would have done that. As I said, I
Right.
think she didn't want to be tracked that day. It's clear, isn't it? For whatever reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then 11:22, she makes her first Petco purchase,
Right.
which as
Dog
we
coat.
know, yeah. So that, I mean, the apparently the Petco assistant was saying that she was acting real shady. She was kept going to the door and looking out, and she looked
Yeah.
nervous.
She was hinky, acting hinky, as we say in Massachusetts.
Yeah. So
Shady.
why is she doing that? Do you think, like you were saying, is she worried that
He's
Gannon's
gonna get
gonna?
out of the truck. I think she drugged him, and I think by this point, I think Gannon knows something's up. He's a smart kid. He's like something's up. He's probably having a little fear, but he's probably drugged, and she's afraid he's gonna get out of the car. I mean, I that's pretty clear to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now all they've said on this is that Gannon is not visible on any Petco surveillance video. So I don't know whether that means they had good surveillance video of the truck, but they couldn't see Gannon,
Right.
or the surveillance video didn't cover the area of where she parked the truck. It doesn't say. So it just says
Right.
unfortunately there's
Yeah,
no
well,
visible.
those cameras don't zoom in. Like, let's just say, for argument's sake, that he's drugged, right? He might have been laying down, and you wouldn't see him anyways.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Um. Also, so then at 12:06, Al texts Gannon and says, "Hey, buddy," and this goes unanswered until
Mm,
13:21. So sort of an hour 20 minutes before Gannon replies to how. Obviously, we don't know
Right.
at that time. If it is Gannon that's replying, obviously it could be T, but
Right.
the response is, can I play Zelda at least?
Right.
And Al says, not today. So that was at
Right.
13:21. 13:22, she then goes back to Petco. So for 2 hours, they don't know where she was. They say they don't
Right.
know where she was for those. Um, is it 2 hours? Yeah, 2 hours, 11:22 to 13:22.
Right.
Where do you think she? What do you think? Where do you think she may have gone? Or do,
Well,
do,
I think at some point, I think in that morning, I agree. I think she woke up that morning, and at some point, she thought to herself, in my opinion, in the end of the day, this kid's going to be dead. That was just her mindset. She just had enough, whatever her twisted mind, and I think she was driving around trying to build up the courage, maybe, or just thinking in her head, like trying to build up the courage, like thinking, oh my god, I gotta watch this kid, blah blah blah. And then after she decided I'm definitely going to kill him, I think she was looking for places. I hate to use the word dump somebody because he's a human being, a little G-man, but I think she was looking for places. She's like, okay, I'm going to kill him, where am I going to put him? So I think the place was pre-planned where she was going to put him.
you think
So I
so?
think that's where she was. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that makes any sense to me. Somebody else might have a different opinion. They might be right, but that's what I'm thinking. And she's like, well, okay, if I kill him, where am I going to, if he dies, right? Let's say he's drugged and he's in the car and he could die. She's like, where am I going to put him?
Hmm.
She wants to hide him good enough that, and if the cops weren't on her as quick as they were, she probably would have left him there. So I think she was doing some hunting for where to put him and get rid of, I don't know when she got rid of like the other stuff, but
Yeah. Do you think this
I'll be
was
waiting for the.
Do you think this was an accident go wrong? Do you think maybe she didn't mean to kill him, but she's hit him so severely that she knows that she's you know done damage to him, and she doesn't want people to find out? Or do you
Yeah,
think?
I don't think she wanted to be in jail and get in trouble. I think she abused them. I think I totally think that she lost it. I think it had been building up from her text that we read. God knows what she was Googling before. She had just absolutely, and then when she's getting the hint that I think she had sent a text like, I sent my husband, dirty sex messages. He doesn't respond. Now, not all of a sudden is she like doing all these things to these kids. Now her husband's going to dump her. And so now she's like in this hateful, spiteful, like you said, bitter rage. And this child's the easiest person to take it out on. And I don't know if her decision was as clear as a lot of people think it is. I don't think it was as clear the day before, but I think by that morning, I think whatever happened that night, she did hit him. To what extent, I don't know, but I think she thought, I abused this child and now I'm going to never get a teaching job. Al is really going to divorce me and I'm going to be in jail. And she thought, I got to get rid of the abused person, which is Gannon. I
Hmm,
think it was a desperate move. I think it was a panic move, but it was an evil move and it was a murderous move just the same. I mean, yeah, she would have gotten trouble because she got a prior record for domestic violence. So she's obviously got a temper. And I think she really didn't want to get in trouble. She didn't want her daughter finding out she's going to jail because she abused somebody. And um, yeah, I think it was more to cover the abuse, the original abuse, which probably wasn't as severe. You know,
hmm.
she wouldn't have done life without parole, which she's probably going to do now.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I mean, it's kind of premeditated anyway, isn't it? Whether she
Oh,
premeditated to kill him days
it is.
before,
But,
yeah,
right.
or whether she injured him and thought, oh shit, I've got to not let people see this, and has decided to kill him. Either way, it's premeditated anyway, isn't it? And that's the angle that prosecution are going for. I think they're going for the full premeditated first degree. So
Well, because the minute she abused him and he was injured and maybe it was life threatening and she didn't do anything, then it's premeditated.
yeah,
Absolutely. Because you could have stopped it. You took the next step to murder this child. And she must have really had to work herself up in her mind. It's not as easy to kill people as some people think it is. I mean, this is a child, and God bless him. Look how cute he was. He was just adorable. How do you like get yourself into a mindset to know to get that angry? You he didn't do enough to make her that angry. She had to, I think, go in her mind with Al and Lena and take all the anger she had on them and focus it on him. And that's why she managed to do what she did.
Yeah, it just blows my mind when people can lay
And then
hands
just
on
stuff him in
children. It's
a,
just
oh my God, she stuffs him in a suitcase. He's in the car when the cops come. I got to give the woman this. She's got brass balls, man. How do you like stand there and tell the cops, "Oh, I think my stepson, ran away," and he's in your car, I think, in the trunk.
that's what we're led to
Wow.
believe. Yeah, so just going back to the timeline. So she's made a trip to Petco.
Yep.
Now, so that was at 1322. Now, at 1343, an internet search was performed on Gannon's phone.
Yeah.
Um, they believe it was her because of the fact that she's got this trait of putting in dots instead of full stops instead of spaces. So, but
Right.
the search was at 1343. Can my parent find my cell phone if it's off?
Right. That's
Um,
T.
Now they did find Gannon's phone at the house, but what they believe is that she was looking up, to see whether it
Oh
was
yeah.
possible. She probably saw that there were various ways they could track it, so she
Right.
thought different of that idea and
Yep.
and kept the phone at home. Now, of course, now this is the big sort of major point of debate, really. One of them, anyways, is at 2:19 when T is seen returning in our truck. Now,
Right.
of course, we were all, you know, um, led to believe that he didn't come home.
Right.
And we all thought that it was supported by law enforcement. They were corroborating Roderick's story that he didn't see him return. But of course, now, since this affidavit comes out, it turns out that they do believe he did come back.
Right.
And I think they're basing that because they even admit it's not clear on the video. It's not clear,
Right.
but apparently they have an ADT home security system, which
Right.
has got motion detectors upstairs and downstairs. And I'm figuring they must have had movement upstairs and downstairs at pretty much, you know,
Yeah.
times where it couldn't possibly be one person.
Yeah.
Um,
There was
that
a
that
lot of movement.
yeah,
So cleaning movement.
yeah. But they believe that this is the key time when they believe it happened was between sort of 2:20 and
Right.
3:15 when Lena got home from school. That's they kind of are insinuating that's when they believe that he was murdered in his bedroom.
Well, yeah, I don't see him getting out of the truck, although I have seen some angles. There's a shadow. It's for me, my kids always get in and out of one side. So I was kind of like going by my life. I'm like, all right, my kids get it. So he would get in and out of one side, but maybe she told him to get out the other side. Because there was a car, if you notice, I think it was her car, the
Yeah,
black car was right next to it. I thought he didn't get out because there wasn't enough room. Like sometimes you like whack the door, but she might have said get out the other side. I think we all wanted to believe like murder's never nice, but that okay, well she killed him and she buried him and that was the end of it. Not she drove him all the way home, gets him in the house and then does it. It's even more premeditated and more heinous. And then poor Lena comes home and it's like, oh, go ride your bike. So basically, I can clean up a murder scene.
yeah, yes. Lena returned at 15 hours.
Okay.
Also, what they're saying is 1419 is when they returned. It was 25 minutes later, then T unlocked her phone that she'd left at home. Um, and then at
Clean.
15:15, Lena returns home from school, and T tells her, "Gannon's asleep in your bed. You need to go outside and play." And that's when they believe that she was cleaning up. Or whether
Oh,
whether
so,
whether she, I don't know. Between that time, 1420 and sort of 1515, or maybe slightly past that, well, that's when they believe that. And then they believe that at some point, obviously, Gannon was brought through the house into the garage and loaded
right.
into the Tiguan, her black Volkswagen Tiguan, which
Yep.
nobody had really paid much attention to before,
No.
had they?
Nope. Nope. Al's
Uh,
truck was the focus.
Yeah, and like you say, that Tiguan, when taking everything into account,
Hmm.
there's a very real possibility that Gannon's body was in that Tiguan when the officers turned up later that
Oh, I'm
evening,
sure it was.
which is
She didn't have
unbelievable.
time.
It's unreal to think that, isn't it?
Well, of course, yeah, absolutely, Chris. I agree with you. But I think the thing is, she's trying to act logical and get, all right, I gotta get the body out of the house. And I think those vehicles have like a back flap. You can put stuff under if the third seat's down, so you really don't see it. Um, I know some people are like getting on law enforcement. I'm not going to join that bandwagon because they show up at a house that looks put together. There's no obvious signs of foul play. And there's the stepmother looking nice, going, oh, he turned over a candle and, he took off. So, this may start a Gannon's law where any child under the age of 13 reported missing, you search vehicles, because yeah, you're right. If they had searched the vehicle, they might have found them. But I'm not blaming law enforcement for not doing it. They were following protocol. But
Yeah,
boy, she's got brass ones. She got big brass balls. She needs like polish for those things because what a chance. But what are you gonna do? You're like, I just killed somebody, and like I said, murder is not a human thing that's normal. So you're not thinking rationally, you're just acting. She's just, I got to get it out of here, and she put them in there. She wasn't hoping for the best. She just did what she had to do, and they
yeah.
just didn't find them.
So it leads you to believe, when she set off that morning with Gannon, did she intend to bring him home, or did something go wrong and she had to bring him home? It's unbelievable to think, isn't it, that she would sort of
Yeah,
injure him, bring him home, and then I don't know, it just seems
that's
unreal.
why I think when she was driving around, she was doing some thinking, in my opinion, like maybe she didn't want to kill anybody because that's, like I said, not a normal thing. Um, Maybe she didn't want to kill him, but she kept thinking in her head, "Oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to go to jail. My daughter's going to, you know what I mean? All this stuff's in her head." And then she's just like, "I got to, that's it." And I don't know whether they went in the house and maybe he said, "Can I play Switch?" No, you can't. They got no thing. I don't know. Or she might have just drove up and said, "I'm going to get in trouble. I got to kill him." And I think that's the most likely scenario for
Yeah,
my, she seems to like to lie and get away with it. Like, she applied for the last job and kind of lied, and that's why they fired her. And it's not clear when they fired her, before, after. I mean, why would you call into a job, right? Say your stepfather got killed that you're not working at. That goes to show what a crazy ass teabag she is if she wasn't working there.
that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Maybe she lives in her own reality of I didn't get fired. We're normal, so we're thinking, okay, you got fired. Maybe she doesn't even realize she got fired. She lives in her own reality. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm still working there. Let me call in and say my stepfather got hit by a bus. I mean, God, what a
yeah,
lunatic.
yeah. I don't think they even verified a job position, did they? Even like you say, I think she's living in a fantasy world. But important thing as well about the truck is they didn't find any traces of blood in the truck.
No.
Um,
Well, if you're in a suitcase, there's not going to be a lot of blood,
hmm,
you know, and a cardboard. According to Teabag, Eduardo, I mean, I hate it when I come home, right? And I gave somebody like the key to my house and they try to rape me and then ask me for, on top of it, for a cardboard box and a brown suitcase. Just ruins my day. I mean, she's a total idiot. It's like, that's what he's found in. I don't know about the cardboard box, but I'm sure it is because she's covering her tracks, but it's the suit. Eduardo asked for a suitcase. You might as well just say, I killed him. Get
yeah.
it over with. I
Well,
mean,
that's
really,
yeah.
she's got some consciousness of guilt going on. She really does, somewhat.
Well, that's it. There are truths in those ridiculous lies. Like say she
Right,
brings up a
absolutely.
suitcase, she brings up a gun. She brings up a cardboard box. You
Yep.
know, it's not going to be a surprise, is it, if there's a cardboard box in the suitcase or
Because
something? Is there really?
that Iguano did it. The iguana did it. He escaped from, the rainforest of Africa, iguana, and he came back. And I mean, it's that ridiculous that you could say an iguana broke in for her story. And then she tried to blame it on the other guy. I can't even think of his name. It's so ridiculous. But the guy that she went on this most wanted site for Colorado and picked this guy and said, this guy broke in and he stole Gannon.
Yeah, yeah. In a,
Believe pick one story and stay with it.
yeah, she's covering for something though. She's covering up for something that
Hmm.
she's worried they're going to find, which I don't know.
But she
That's
can't
just a
cover
crazy
it up.
story. No,
And I'm glad you hit the one thing you said, Chris, that sticks in my head. And it's so true. Thank God she's dumb. And thank God she's saying what she's saying. Because you think about it, the prosecution would have so much less without her statements.
yeah, yeah. They let her blab, and they knew exactly what they were doing. So another key thing as well, at 15:55 on that day, Al
Yeah.
texts Gannon again saying, "Hey, buddy," and it wasn't it went unread for kind of one,
Huh.
two, three, 4 hours.
Wow.
And that's another reason that leads them to believe that Gannon was dead
Yeah. Right.
at that time. Um, so 1642 Harley. Now, of course, T's 7-year-old daughter Harley arrives to pick up Lena.
Oh, right.
And shortly after that, T texts Harley asking her to purchase carpet cleaner, trash bags, and baking soda.
Right.
Um,
That I buy those every day. You know.
yeah, exactly. Now, of course, Harley would have been, completely unaware of what was going on. I'm pretty sure.
Right. I would
Some,
think anything's wrong. That's pretty standard household stuff.
yeah, I think it's important to say that because I know some people, are raising the question that, maybe Harley must have known something, or, I don't. I think it will turn out she's just a complete innocent victim in all of this, and
I agree with you 100%. I think she's a definite victim. I mean, we all have parents. If my mother texted me and said, "Hey, Deb, can you pick up trash bags, carpet fresh, and whatever," I wouldn't think twice about it. I wouldn't think twice.
no, not at her age. Only 17 years old as well. She wouldn't.
And the fact she didn't talk to law enforcement doesn't make me think she's involved. It makes me think that this poor girl is in a mental turmoil, as most children would be. And at 17, she's still a child, and she's still in that mental state of you love your parent. I mean, her father's dead, so teabag, poor, even more pathetic for the poor girl, is the only parent she's got. She I'm sure at first you're in denial, like my mother wouldn't kill somebody, but I'm sure as time went on, it started dawning on her. And as much as I think she loved Gannon, and she definitely did, what a pull between the love for your stepbrother and the love for your mother, and not wanting to throw her under the bus, so to speak. So I don't think it had anything to do with her being involved. I think she's just trying to protect her mother, as most children do. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
important.
I agree
Yeah,
with you.
there were other items on that. She had to buy other items as well. So it wasn't just like she was buying just
No,
those
she bought bubble
particular
gum,
items.
makeup remover pads. We use these little cotton pads. Normal stuff.
Yeah, which T may have asked her to already buy those items. You don't know, do you? So
Or it could have been for
uh,
her. I mean, a
yeah,
17-year-old chews gum and takes off makeup. So I'm sure maybe she bought them for herself.
yeah,
Because that wasn't on T's list. T wanted carpet, fresh trash bags, and what else was it?
baking soda.
Bacon. Yeah, I didn't even know like vinegar and baking soda took out blood. I just learned that one.
Yeah, she obviously knew somehow. Wonder if she'd been.
Google it. She's a
Yeah,
Google.
yeah. Well, she is. Yeah, Google Queen. Yeah, you're right. So 1855 was when she made the call to 911. Apparently, it was T that made the call.
So how
Um,
many hours was that from when they got home?
oh,
They got home at like 2:20. So
219, 220. Yeah. So, well, and she said that she last saw Gannon at 15:15,
okay,
3:15 when he left to play with friends. So 5 hours, isn't it? 5 hours since she thought that she last saw Gannon.
yeah, that's kind of a long span. But when you
Yeah,
clean up a murder scene, that's pretty. Time flies.
yeah. But of course, she couldn't say which friend he'd gone to play with, or didn't know any of their
No,
parents or anything like
she
that. Of
doesn't keep
course.
track of his friends. That's what she said.
Mm,
What parent doesn't, step parent or not, doesn't keep track of your children's friends?
absolutely. 11 years old. You know exactly where they're going, wouldn't you?
All my children's friends came over here because I'm Italian and I feed them. So they were all, I knew who everybody was because they're like, oh my God, you're making lasagna. I knew who And I didn't want my children to have a ton of friends. You want them to have a few friends, so you know who they are. And then she's trying to say, well, Albert knows who his friends are. It's always somebody else is in charge, but you're in charge. You were the last person to be seen with him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was 10:09 that evening that deputies responded
Wow,
to the
it's kind of
residence
like
and conducted a limited search. Like you say, I
right.
mean, maybe, I don't know, you would have thought they would have just checked the vehicles, wouldn't you? As, I'm not in any
Yeah,
way
it's
putting
nobody vehicles to hide. I
yeah,
would have thought you would look, but I don't know. I think then again, you're the cop. Hindsight is always 2020. Like we know what happened and we know Gannon's dead.
of
So it's easy to
course.
say, well, they should have looked in the car because we know he was in the car. But when you're the cop and this house looks perfect, right? And she's like, I'm sure she's putting on the Ritz, with her acting abilities. Like, oh, he took off. I don't know. She made up some bullshit story. I think she was so good that maybe this laws will change. If you're under 13 and somebody says that you took off, you search vehicles. Was
Yeah.
it still in the garage, Chris, at that point, or car, or in the street?
Yeah, so she'd backed this is something that they found was quite key. She'd backed the Tiguan into the
Yeah.
garage. So obviously it
When the
was the
cops came, the Tiguan was in the garage.
yeah, so she'd backed the Tiguan
Huh.
back into the garage. I mean, what they believe is that she brought Gannon's body out through the house. There was an access to the garage from the house,
Right, right.
and they, she took Gannon into the garage and then into the Tiguan, which was backed right into the garage, because that's where they found blood in the garage, was where her Tiguan had been parked. When the officers arrived, they looked at the body cam footage of where the Tiguan, she had put it in the garage, and it pretty much mirrored where, or was exactly where they found the blood in the garage, Gannon's blood. Can you hear me? Oh, hang on, I think something's dropped out there. Bear with me a second, guys. Completely dropped out. Hello? Can you hear me, Deb? Hello?
Hello.
Ah, hiya. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Am I back? I think we got disconnected.
Yeah, I'm just going to invite Kimberly, and I think for some reason it kicked us out when Kimberly was just trying to join,
Oh
and
yeah,
it,
kick
it
some asshole out. I see
kicked
how
she
you
kicks
are.
you out.
That's all right. I love Kim.
I've just
She
sent
can kick me out.
here we go.
All
Hello.
right. I'll wait.
You should be able to both come in. Hello.
I'm still here.
You're still there. Kimberly, right, here we go. This should
Might
be
be a
Kimberly.
delay.
Oh, she's just dropped out. Let me try again.
She dropped out.
Where's she gone? There she is.
Kimberly.
Do, 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 do.
And she's the one with the laptop.
Ah,
I just got my phone. See? Get a Samsung. They're awesome.
okay. Just want to make sure I get Kim in the
Yeah.
meeting. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's see. Hello? Hello?
Okay. Wow. I can't believe she's having a hard time connecting.
She is here.
Sometimes there's a little delay.
Yeah, she may have a mic on mute or something.
Is she muted? I was gonna say she might have
She
muted.
may
I made
be.
sure I
Ah,
unmuted myself.
she's muted now. Now she's unmuted. Hello?
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Hey, there we go.
Unmuted,
Hey,
Kimberly.
finally.
Thank God. I thought you were a mute. I thought you were one of those. What's those guys on the sidewalks with a mime.
I know. It kept I kept seeing your pictures up there, but I was like, what is going on? I finally figured it out.
Hey,
I didn't use the app last time, I don't think.
that's
Read it.
okay. We're just having a great conversation about teabag. Chris really did his homework. He is, wow. I'm impressed. Thank you, Chris, for your hard work. It's really cool.
Yeah, I
you
missed.
gotta
I'm
say.
definitely gonna have to go back and listen.
That's okay.
Yeah, he's got teabagged in a coffee cup. I'm telling the teacup actually.
Just trying to get you back on picture. 1 second. Oh, that might be better. You just dropped off the stream. Hang on 1 sec. I think that's better. Yeah, that's
I know
better.
I have to go
That's better.
laptop. I can like watch chat because I can. I'm on my phone, and if I put it on the chat, I get the feedback. It drives me nuts
Yeah,
because
that's
I want
better.
to watch chat so I can comment, but I bum out because I want to see everybody in chat because we have the most awesome people there, and I love them all. I really do.
Hey,
Yeah.
Kimberly. How are you, Kimberly?
Good.
Good, good.
Unmuted Kimberly.
Um,
So where are you guys at?
right, so we are. It's actually a good time that you join because we're just about to start the next day, which is Tuesday 28th. We were just talking about how T had, returned in the. Well, we've been told now that she returned, right, with Al in the truck, and she murdered him that afternoon in the home. We're
Can
led
you
to
imagine
believe.
seriously picking up your husband? You just killed his son. Can you imagine like the balls it takes to pick the man up? Oh my gosh. What
No, I mean,
I mean,
and I guess
Kimberly,
she.
you got a husband, right? I mean, I know you don't have children, but you got animals. Imagine like wiping out one of the animals, seriously, or killing anything and then picking somebody up. They'll love that. And how do you like keep a straight face?
There's no way.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on that day, Kimberly? I mean, we're led to believe now, as I say, that Gannon did return home with. I know a lot of people
That,
don't still. A lot of people are still debating that. They're still because don't forget they wouldn't necessarily have this 100% right. They even said they couldn't be sure on the
Right.
video. I think they're taking that off of the home security system that there were sensors or movement upstairs and downstairs when they got
I
home.
mean, it's hard for me to believe that he came home with her that day just because, and I mean, I'm basing it off of what the neighbor said, just and the video. I mean, that we all saw. Some
right.
people said they saw something, but the neighbor, I'm assuming, he had the clearest copy other than law enforcement. They had the same thing. And he said that there were never any feet that touched the ground. And he zoomed in and looked. So I don't know. I mean, I have a hard time seeing that, but I could be wrong.
Right. He even said she jumped out, right? And when she jumped out, if you look at the video, she kicked the door so hard it was bouncing. And he said she immediately hit the lock button.
Yeah.
So if Gannon got out, he was quick, but you don't see the shadow that quick. So I'm still on the fence with you, Kim. I don't know if he returned home or not. So.
And they may end up changing some things too, because whenever they put that affidavit out, that was before they had found Gannon. So
yeah, that's interesting, right? To see the autopsy and what that shows.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more evidence is going to come to light, I'm sure, as this moves forward and approaches trial. And like you say, this was only up until end of February, wasn't it? So I'm sure they've got more since then.
Yeah.
So looking at Tuesday 28th, so it's obviously the following day. She was up at 4 in the morning, 4:15 to 4:30. She's Google searching, probably trying to make herself look innocent here because she's searching stuff like what is the process for our runaway child,
Right.
police steps for our runaway, police steps for our missing child. It looks like her little plan in her head is starting to, play itself out.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone missing. Suddenly he's disappeared. I don't know where he's gone.
Yeah, she did searches for runaway first, right? And then she changed it to missing.
Oh,
And
that's
then
right.
there was some search about the policeman asking for his toothbrush.
Right.
I saw something about that. I mean, she
Yeah.
had
That
some
was
very
freaking her
odd.
out. That freaked her out. She's like, they say there's nothing wrong, but they want his toothbrush.
Right. And then in the meantime, she's searching for like sugardaddy.com and all that other
Right.
stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's
Teabag
really
hoe.
mind blowing.
She's a hoe. Teabag hoe. I'm
She,
sorry. She's teabag hoe.
she, something else.
When does she perform those searches then for sugardaddy.com or whatever it is?
I
She
think
was
they said,
28. She was 28 when she did that. Yeah, I read that today. 28.
yeah. And some of the searches, I don't think they put a date on.
Right. Just before she met Al, she's looking for someone to take care of her teabag ass.
Like, how do I find my next husband? How do I find a man that wants to pay me to raise his kids?
She wants to be
Kidding
paid.
me?
There she is living in a beautiful home, driving a beautiful car. She ain't working half the time because her teabag ass is caught lying and fired. You know, I just can't believe she's in the education field. That woman shouldn't be like educating a hamster. She's an idiot.
I know. And her grammar is horrible. I mean, even when she was
it's
doing
the
the
worst.
searches.
You know what she sounds like? A hood rat. She sounds like a friggin' hood rat.
She really does.
That speaks volumes,
mean-
though, doesn't it? If she's searching for the day after stepson's gone missing, she's searching for sugar daddies. I mean, that's just
Right.
that's outrageous.
Yeah.
Or husband.
Or husband.
Wasn't
yeah.
it? I think the day of, maybe the day of, she was searching for some of that stuff, like
Right.
how to meet my next husband and that kind of thing.
Mm.
They were all within a few days of each other. So
Well,
That's why I don't think her killing Gannon was as much about, like Chris Watts, it was like, let me kill the wife and kids so I can continue with the girlfriend. That wasn't her MO. Her MO was more, in my opinion, her hatred for Landon and jealousy, and then built up over time with his dad, with Al. And I think that was her main motivation, was the hate she built up for them. And like I've said,
Right.
you know, in the previous, she took it out on a child because that's what cowards do. They take things up. They don't go up against adults.
No.
They're not, you know, they're just not capable of it.
Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
And after she had done, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, you carry on.
Okay. And after she had done all those searches about finding a man to pay her to watch his kids or whatever,
Right.
then I noticed she did one search that said, find a man with no kids to marry.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It was very odd.
It's all about teabag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very self-centered, I think it is the word,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's
So
a good word.
okay, so 8:30 that morning on the Tuesday, she takes the Tiguan, to her black Tiguan, which they believe that she now used to transport
Right.
Gannon's body, and what she dumped his body. She took that and parked that at Colorado Springs Airport, and then
Right.
rents this Kia Rio, this 2019 white Kia Rio.
Right.
Now, initially, obviously, we all thought that she did loads of miles on this car. Turns out she didn't. She only did 71 miles, and it looks like the reason she rented this car was because she didn't want anyone seeing or getting near that Tiguan.
Right.
Yeah.
So she claimed it.
Yeah. So she went. So she's obviously concocted this plan. She's took the Tiguan to Colorado Springs Airport because she had to pick up Al, and then she's
Right.
rented a car to pick Al up. Now Al's obviously has asked her, where's the Tiguan and whatever, but she's refused to tell him, and she hasn't,
Right.
told him where it is. Or it's quite clear that Tiguan is the key vehicle, I think, from everything, the way that she tried to hide it and keep it away from everyone. I think they've definitely got that bit right.
Right.
And how she had it backed into the garage, and they said there was blood on the back bumper. But I don't understand. I mean, this is not a pleasant thought, but I wonder, I mean, if she had him in her trunk, I mean, she had him there, I guess, until that next evening.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I have looked at some images of that guy. There is quite a sizable boot on them. You can have extra seats, like a second, third row of seats. That's an
Yeah, it's
option
the
on some of the
front row.
models. Yeah, some models have that. But there is quite a big lift up. You know where the spare tire is. You can so
Yep.
on the floor of the boot, you can lift that up, and underneath there's quite a sizable space where you can store the
Right.
spare tire and what have you.
Or a suitcase.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
Yeah.
possibly she could have done that.
I think you stood in there, so even if the cops went by, they would have looked in the back and they wouldn't have saw anything. You know what I'm saying? Because that a child's not going to lift up a spare tire thing and get in there. He's just going to hop
Right.
in the back, you know. So I think she literally, I saw a video on that exact model, and they do have she had the third seat, and it did lift up, and there was a spot to hide, and it would have fit a suitcase, you
Yeah,
know.
and
11
Oh
year
my
old,
gosh.
and he was a little boy. Gee, man, he was a little guy. God
yeah,
But
bless
I
him.
mean, there again, she had. I mean, for her to have him know that she had him in her car and the cops were there. I mean, she's just unbelievable.
that's the
She got
unreal
brass
part.
balls.
Yeah,
Brass balls. She needs some like brass polish, because it's the same woman sticking tissue down her pants, and I'm going to keep referring to that because it's absolutely almost just it's almost funny if it wasn't so heinous.
Yeah. Whenever I read the affidavit again last night, it made a little more sense to me. I mean, not that she put the tissues in her pants, but I think because it was when she was being questioned by the police, right? And they were asking for her DNA. And
Right.
that's whenever she started saying she was having chest pains and everything else because she knew they would have to call 911.
Right.
And so she took
Right.
those tissues.
She was upset, Kim.
Yeah.
Iguana raped her, so she was in a bad mindset there.
She was trying to delay them getting her DNA, I think. And that's why she took those tissues because,
But then we at it, and this is where murderers don't think logic or normal or anything. Like I said to Chris, murder is not a normal human behavior, and it shows in these Chris Watts, Diane Downs, teabag idiots how irrational you act. You're in a police station; they're gonna get a warrant for your DNA, and you're sticking tissues down your ooh. I mean, it's just weird. You just look weird,
very,
right?
yeah, she,
And you
very odd.
on a rape kit, you know? Come on.
yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing. And how in the world did she go from saying one person raped her to another person raped her and they're a different race? I don't
One's
know.
black, one's Hispanic. Iguana's Hispanic. I can't think of the other guy's name. I wish I'd wrote it down, but that poor guy is already like on America's, he's already on Colorado's like most wanted list. So he's already in trouble. And then he's like, this teabag bitch is like saying I broke, I know. And it was riding a bike, and it's almost funny.
Oh, when she said he was laying in the road. Yeah.
Falls down, hits his head, and this guy jumps out and takes him. But his friend says, my name was it Leonardo, whatever his name was. All these people introduce themselves, all these kidnappers. Isn't that incredible?
Crazy
right.
story.
And then there was the other variation of that where she said he was laying in the road.
Right.
And
Well,
she had to stop the car so she wouldn't run over him. And then he got in the car.
Well, the modern cars, your door locks when you get in, number one. And number two, if you have intelligence above a hamster or a coil on an electric stove, if somebody's running to your car, you'll lock your door.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so they found basically the Tiguan was backed into the garage. They found blood underneath where the Tiguan had been parked. So,
Must have been
you know
ripping out of the suitcase. Oh,
yeah,
God.
they found blood on the bumper, I believe, and there were traces of blood in a few places. I think on the glove box, the back seats.
Horrible.
Obviously,
She must have had it on her hands.
yeah, that's where that vehicle became the real focus. So she
She
rent.
must have really bludgeoned him for that much blood. Oh, what a horrible thought.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Chris.
horrible thought. But so she texts Harley as well, saying pull your car into the garage. Obviously, she wants
Is that what you want?
that.
Oh,
Yeah, so to cover up
Holly?
any Yeah, to cover
blood
up any
stain.
any blood stains on the
Oh,
garage floor. It sounds like.
Yeah.
wow. I didn't know
Uh,
that Holly's car was backed up in there to cover any. Wow.
yes, I mean Harley obviously would have sort of obviously known anything about it, but this yeah this was why she was picking up Al from the airport. So
Mm,
she's texted Harley
yeah.
and said pull your car into the garage.
Wow.
So she picks up Al in the Kia Rio and they
Yeah.
drive back. They drive back home. And obviously, I don't think the Kia Rio. They did find, or rather, they did find some blood in there, but it wasn't obviously because it was a lease car, and it could have had loads and loads of
Right.
people that have been renting it. It wasn't. They didn't match the blood to anyone or anything. So I don't think the Kia Rio is really that
Nah.
key in the story now, really. So, and people initially believed that she'd done 995 or 955 miles in it and what have you, and
Right.
tried to take him halfway to Florida
Yeah,
or
I think
whatever.
she
But
doctored the thing. They said she tried to doctor the mileage to make it look like, because her original story was, I can't use my vehicle because my lease I can't go over. So she had to make it look like there was a lot more miles for Al. You know what I mean? So,
hmm,
but there was only 71, not 955. So she was trying to cover her tracks. But man, what a teabag! She is really an idiot. Thank God. Thank God,
What
teabag,
if
you're a
that
moron.
what about that car rental receipt? I guess that was just fake.
yeah, I thought, yeah, because it had initial mileage
They say
5.
now she faked it. Yeah, she faked it.
What do you think is
Oh
a
my
fake?
God.
Hmm.
Well, when you're about to be accused of murder and you've just done the most heinous thing and you're a teabag, that's what you do. You go, what can I do? There's whiteout, there's computers, there's easy ways to dock it. She docked it. It just didn't help her. It just, thank God, everything she did, guys, in the long run, just solidifies her guilt.
Hmm. Or it's just they just put down like a generic number of mileages on the receipt, or maybe they just asked her what mileage was and she
They
told
probably asked
them, or
her to do that.
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, apparently, like you say, it appears she only did 71 miles. They can probably tell that from the car's CPU or something, computer system. But yeah, it appears the reason that she got that was so that she could hide the Tiguan, and nobody
What?
could see
It
it.
wasn't going from her going door to door looking for Gannon, I can tell you that.
No, no, we know that for sure. Yeah. Now the other important thing they now know about that, or her Tiguan, is that she picked it up again that evening on the
Mm-hmm.
28th at
Yeah.
7 o'clock, 1900 hours. It was picked up
Yeah.
from the airport,
Okay.
and then between 8:30 and 10:20 that night, she was in the area where they found Gannon's blood on the piece of wood. So they found,
Yeah.
it was in
Hmm.
Southern
Oh,
Douglas
the
County,
particle
wasn't it?
board. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've looked at the data from the car and her phone data, and they can see that she was in that area.
Right.
So that's where they
So
believe she dumped him initially.
Right. I believe that. Makes sense.
so her car was actually at the airport, right? But didn't she lie and tell Al that it was
It was
somewhere
near a
else?
school.
Yeah,
Near a
Okay.
school or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
yeah, because
I know
obviously,
it's shocking that that teabag would lie, but
Yeah, right.
yeah, because obviously she's picking up
I
Al
don't
in this
believe the truth
picking
teller.
up picking up Al in this rental car. Obviously, he's going to be thinking, "What the hell? Where's your car?" Wouldn't he? So
Right. Right.
Yeah.
why are you
I'm sure
picking
he
up?
was thinking that.
Yeah,
Well, she told their daughter that it broke down.
Really? I didn't know that
Yeah,
part.
she told her that it broke down, and because what happens is you got to think when you're a murderer, apparently, and I'd never make it. You got to think on your feet. I'm not, and you know what? The ridiculous stories of like Chris Watts and Teabag go to show you thinking on your feet does not work well. Look how dumb they sound and are.
mm,
Right. I mean, how do they come up with all these lies? But that's another thing about liars, I mean, they usually can't keep up with their stories. I mean, because,
And
you know,
they're not even good at it. Like I think some people are better than others, and let's thank God that
yeah.
Chris Watts and Teabag are horrible liars. I mean, she should write a book how not to make yourself look like you committed murder, because everything she did was the opposite. If she had shut her trap, like I told Chris earlier, the prosecution would have I think they'd still convict her, but they'd have a much harder time. Much harder time.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah, everything she did had the opposite effect of what she wanted, for sure.
yeah.
Absolutely.
She gave them a lot more evidence and circumstantial evidence. Like
Yeah.
in her blabbing, hasn't she? She's given away so much. It's no wonder they, like you say, they just let her continue to to put herself in it.
Chris got a message from crew helper. I think you got to send him a invite.
Yeah.
He said he's
So, so another important point, as they're saying, between 9:15 and 9:30 that evening, her Tiguan was stopped for approximately 5 minutes, and they believe it's very, very close, sort of within 100 meters or so of where they found the blood. So what they believe is that this is the time when she took him there, and basically she's probably at that point, I would imagine, dumping his body probably at that time that night.
I think that's conclusive. I think that's so pretty well. You know what I mean? She did that.
So this is one part I didn't understand too, though. If she was in her car, right? She was in her car. So why did Harley have to come pick her up?
Yeah, I wondered that. Yeah, that was at sort of 10:20. Harley, because Harley was confirmed. Well, Harley was confirmed to be at home. She was confirmed to be at home. Her phone
maybe
data.
she told Harley 7 car problems.
Yeah, maybe she must have. She obviously concocted some kind of lie, didn't she, to Harley to say, "Oh, probably the car's broke down somewhere. I got towed away to the garage and something like that."
Teabag said, "I got a tea bag and it ain't working." You know, she probably said, "Oh, my battery ain't working because I'm a dumb tea bag and a succubus from hell." And, you know, and being 17, when your parents say something, you may be an adult and think it's ridiculous, but you don't think it's ridiculous at that age. You just kind of, okay. You know, you don't start asking questions like adults were.
No.
You know, we'd be like, well, wait a minute, you know, you were just in your car.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Holly doesn't think, oh, my mother's a murderer and succubus teabag from hell. She's like, okay, my mother said she needs a ride. I'll just go pick her up.
You wouldn't want to think that. I mean, so.
No.
So Holly seems like a really God-fearing, lovely young lady. And I feel my heart personally breaks for her that teabag is her mother. Well, she deserves much better.
Ruined her life, that's
right.
For sure. So Wednesday 29th, she takes the Kia Rio back to Colorado Springs Airport at 9 in the morning. I think they've confirmed Harley picked her up. But as I say, there was nothing found in the Kia Rio. I think it was just literally used as a buffer vehicle, yeah. Then it was noted that that day T had to go and see the investigators at the El Paso Sheriff's Office. And she conveniently washed the Tiguan apparently half an hour before she went to see the officers. Yeah, she was.
I always do that on my way to the police station. Come on.
Yeah, car wash on the way to the police station. Yeah.
Always. I had to wash my car and get the tissues in my pants.
Yeah.
Really, they did put in the affidavit that the car was still wet. So I guess maybe I don't know. I guess they must have looked in the car. So
yeah, they were suspecting teabag.
Yeah, I think they were onto her pretty quickly, really, weren't they? Of course, they seized the vehicle then, and then she rented another car.
The car wash is on the witness list.
Yeah, she rented a Nissan then, and they put a GPS tracker on that, which led them, which gave them more evidence actually, because she then returned to the place again on Highway 105, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. She returned there again in the Altima. She did a little tour around there again on Friday the 31st of where they found the blood and where they believe she dumped the body. So, like they're saying, why is she going back there again? Why is she obsessed with this certain area on this road?
Yeah.
Pretty clear now, isn't it? Yeah, like they said, there was no evidence that she had friends or family in that area. She was, totally out of her normal zone kind of thing. But what they do believe is that she probably They believe that obviously she disposed of Gannon at night. She probably wanted to go back there maybe to make sure that in daylight that she'd done a good job of hiding him. That's what they think.
Yep.
And it couldn't be seen from the road or anything like that.
Yeah.
1st of Feb, they searched her Tiguan. Of course, they found traces of blood on the rear passenger seat, front passenger seat, and an area near the glove box. Suspected blood was
Ugh.
found on the bumper and the step plate of the rear bumper.
Right.
They couldn't make a DNA match to Gannon, but yeah, they got some pretty conclusive forensic evidence from that car. And it was a car that no one thought of. It was a car that no one was really looking at.
No, that was like
Yeah.
the original car. And I think that's why Teabag, going back to her attacking the deputy, I think she really, at that point, it dawned on her that, oh my God, I'm being arrested for murder. I know I did it, and they know I did it. And I think her anger, anxiety just came out. I mean, she actually, I'm surprised because I know it's probably different where she was, but in Massachusetts, there's no way you could reach through a back seat and grab a deputy. But I guess she literally grabbed this woman, from what I heard, by her hair and was banging her head against the thing. But that goes to show you her consciousness of guilt of, you know what I mean? She's sitting there going, they're going to convict me. She knows it. She absolutely knew with it. I think that's why she attacked them. She knew she was all done. I think she absolutely knows that.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean,
that's not her face when she was sitting in court. She knows. Imagine being her lawyers getting that case and reading some of the discovery. I'd be like, I quit. Teabag ain't for
me. So I wonder I wonder if that is the reason why she was using. Whoops. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, Kim, would you take that case? Could you imagine, or Chris, being a defense lawyer? I mean, how would you defend her, or anybody in the chat? How do you defend someone like that?
No, you couldn't. Go ahead, Kim. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just saying, I wonder if that is why she was using Al's truck that day, because she was trying to take all the attention away from her car.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with you, Kim. No, I agree with you.
Possibility, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, possibility. I can't believe they didn't find any blood in Al's truck.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that video, the day before, which we believe was the night before, that she put out, and you thought we could hear Gannon say, "I'm bleeding."
Right.
But obviously they didn't find any.
She punched him, and he might have had a nosebleed or something, and it stopped by the next day. But my opinion, I think more the situation for Gannon was, I think he was more drugged, because like we discussed, I think she was hoping he would die. God forgive me, it's a terrible thing to say. Somebody's hoping you're going to die on the trip to Petco. That's why she was gone so long. She's kept like, this kid don't die, and that's when I think she got, when you look at the video of her arriving home, she kicks that front door so hard it bounces, because she's like, now I got to kill him, and it's an 11-year-old child. My God,
yeah.
There's no excuse on the earth, but this woman is a gold digger, a murdering gold digger. That's what she is. Disgusting.
And that's, the neighbor said that he did look drugged that morning too.
Yeah, he did. There was definitely something not right with him, wasn't there?
He was hunched over.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, because of the cashier or whoever at Petco that said she kept looking back, out towards the parking lot. Right. So I'm wondering if he was, I don't know, if either she was wondering if he was going to wake up, if he was, drugged, or if,
That's what I said,
Kim. Had to be looking at something.
Try to get out.
Yeah.
I think by then he knew something was hinky, and that she was trying to hurt him. And I think, when someone drugs you, eventually, you're drugged. You know what I'm saying? So I think she was worried he was going to try to get out, and because why are you so panicked?
Exactly.
No other reason.
Exactly. So according to the affidavit, it was the 15th of Feb when they found that piece of board. We saw them doing the searches, didn't we? The fingertip searches in the snow and what have you.
That was the 15th of February.
Yeah, that's when they found it. So I mean, that was obviously yeah, that was a real key piece of evidence for them, wasn't it? Because they tied in the location and obviously
Oh yeah.
Gannon's blood, and of course now the next thing that this woman thinks to do is to take a fake polygraph test. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, why on earth? How stupid can you be? What is the point of taking a
I,
fake polygraph test? It was almost like she just did that to put on social media or something to say, look,
yeah, I mean, unless maybe she was trying to convince Al, which I mean, I don't know why it didn't seem like she wanted to be with him anyway, but
Right.
I don't know.
it's just bizarre. It's almost
Very
laughable, it
bizarre.
really is.
Narcissists are very concerned about what people think about them. It's not right or wrong or logical, but they are very concerned about their appearance to others. So I
Hmm.
think that's why she was trying to look good to other people, because along with being a murderer and succubus from hell teabag, she's a narcissist.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Certainly. Of course, this only
I didn't
takes us
even
up.
know they had fake polygraphs.
I
I
didn't see that.
mean,
Jeez, I gotta remember that. Not that I
Fakepolygraph.com.
commit crimes.
that is insane.
Use
Now,
them.
if
They
that
would
really is like
sure.
they're using that to catch people, then that's kind of cool. But if I don't know.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that's just letting people being, scumbags try to get away with it. But I agree in this situation, though. Thank God for that company, because there's Teabag calling up like, and the one question I know Kim had brought up that I still have a question about is why would she answer the question about how was it? Did your son arrive with you home that day? And she said,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's the truth, but she could be lying. I don't know whether she just slips up because, there's a lot to remember when you're a murdering succubus feedback from hell. It's a lot on your plate. Or if she wanted people to think a certain thing for some reason,
Well, yeah, because she lied about every question, anything that had to do with Gannon on
right.
that, she lied, obviously, So to that question, if he did come home with her, then I think the reason, like I said yesterday, why she said that was simply because at the time that was making her look very suspicious if he didn't,
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. That made sense to me when you said that. I'm like, good point.
Yeah, it did seem strange, didn't it, that question? But yeah, that does make
Mm-hmm.
sense, like what you've said.
And like
So,
Chris said, all liars tell the truth sometimes.
mm,
Yeah, there's a little truth in there.
Yep.
so now, I mean, well, we don't know. Obviously, they obviously know a lot more, but now it's going to be piecing together how she managed to, oh, Gannon, bless him, and managed to end up in Florida. I mean,
I
has
know.
she taken him there in several trips, or where has she taken him? This is going to be the key question, isn't it? Everyone's going to want to know.
Yeah, I mean, if that day she was doing that interview, so on January 31st, when she did that crazy interview with her back to the camera, and they had them, and they had the moving van, and then she had that rental car.
Right.
I mean, it just makes you wonder. I don't know. I mean, who knows if they went straight to South Carolina, or even if she did, even if they all went to South Carolina, then she could have left, after she
Right.
moved all of her things. She could have left by herself again and went to Florida.
So she had the Nissan. She had the Nissan Altima rental car. Then did she? The next rental car.
I believe so. She had some kind of rental car then. I believe it was the Nissan. Yes.
And the moving truck. I mean, she could have put them in the suitcase, stuffed them in the moving truck, picked them up, threw them in there, a couple of, Febrezes or whatever, dryer sheets. I mean, who knows? But I think the thing with that is she knew absolutely at that point that she was suspect number one. And she knew that she had to get him out of Colorado. I mean, this is where the trial's going to be, as everybody in chat, as we know, is going to be riveting, because we want to know who knew what at that point. And there's no doubt in my mind she brought him to Florida, but I think he was in the moving truck. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, she, as deceitful as she is, I wouldn't doubt. I mean, her doing something like that and putting him in the moving truck without even telling her family members, because I know she wasn't driving the moving truck. It was some male that she's related to, and then
Right.
someone else, maybe her aunt or somebody, and then she was driving the other vehicle. I wouldn't doubt her doing that, but
No. And
Sometimes criminals think something in plain sight. Hide something in plain sight because nobody will think you'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
if he's in a suitcase and she pads
Who's
it
gonna
out and
think his body in a suitcase?
she pads it out, make sure that she
She's
loads it up,
moving.
make sure that she's the one that takes it off. I mean, she's very cold and calculated, wasn't she? So it wouldn't surprise me at all if that is the case. Yeah. But
Could have been in the moving truck, or she could have had it either way.
But like I was saying to you, you guys the other day, I just hope to God this doesn't become another Casey Anthony or something like that. Where we've seen it happen before, haven't you? Where these things don't pan out the way that people hope, and they should pay out. It's
Well, Casey Anthony was a bit different in two aspects. One of them is there's no CCTV of her being with the suspect. I mean, if they had CCTV of Casey leaving with Casey, that murdering bitch, and she is, we all know that, would be in jail, in prison the rest of her life. And nothing is, she didn't do all these interviews and, run her. I mean, Imodium AD can't help the tea bag and her diarrhea of the mouth. I mean, wow. I mean, Casey Anthony ran her mouth, but it was nothing like T did,
Yeah. Well, she wasn't on social media and everything like that.
Right.
There is quite substantial.
And Jose Baez won't even defend her. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, there is. I mean, there is, like they say, there is a mountain of evidence against it. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than this. So.
And Michael is not going to make a mistake I think what happened in the Casey Anthony, I have a lot of respect. I can't think of his name right now, but I can picture his face. He was a great prosecutor, but it was so obvious that Casey Anthony did it that he almost got cocky about it. It was a slam dunk. So the jury was overwhelmed when they brought in all this evidence and stuff they didn't have to. You should have focused on Casey is the last person with Kaylee and back that up, and they didn't. And what happened was it blew up in their face. And it was heartbreaking to see. It really was. But he is not going to. And Casey Anthony didn't attack a deputy on the way to the police station. So
no, that's true.
Well, like you said, at least they have the video that T was the last person with Gannon. So
Kim, right, and that he never left the house.
Yep.
And there's blood in the house. It's not like there's no blood. We can't find any blood. I mean, behind a light socket, she whacked him with something. I mean, I don't think she shot him, but who knows with this nutcase? She's a teabag. I mean, they don't think like us. We can't answer a lot of these questions because we're not like Tetley dumb murdering teabags, so we don't know.
No. Don't even want to know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's unimaginable what she.
But I'm glad she did all those interviews, and I'm glad that she did all those Facebook calling people idiots, and we were all like keyboard warriors. Well, you know what? The keyboard warriors and the Facebook idiots didn't have to do shit to you, teabag, because you really, like Chris Watts, did it to yourself.
She did.
Really? Yep. She's like a prosecution's dream. If she was in law enforcement, she'd be a prosecutor because she just prosecuted herself, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, she has.
Thank you, man. You just made my job like so much easier, and you're sticking tissues in your pants because, I mean, DNA, you live with this. When you live with family members, your DNA is expected to be there. So for her to overreact and stuff tissues down her pants just goes to show a consciousness of guilt because you expect everybody's DNA to be there. They live together. But T-Bag's like, oh my God, I killed them. Let's stick these tissues down my ooh.
Yeah, she didn't want them to have her DNA, exactly.
She was probably panicking. She was probably panicking because obviously they seized her vehicle at that time and her phone, and she's probably freaking out. She's having a panic attack.
T-Bag like soaking too long because she's really Except for Chris Watts, I don't think I've ever seen such a stupid. Jodi Arias was smarter than her. She at least sounded more intelligent. Teabag and Chris Watts sound just as uneducated and dumb and murderous. They're right in the same boat. They'd make a couple from hell. They really would.
Well, she was in that affidavit. It was also saying that she had texted the someone in law enforcement, one of the officers,
really
saying, asking them, what do you want from me? Like basically defending herself before they even accused her of anything.
Right, going on the old offense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really obvious.
Yeah, overreacting, panicking, stressing out.
Yeah.
Not to see you stick tissues on your pants because it's really disturbing.
I mean, none of those things is what someone's going to be doing if their stepchild is missing. None of those things.
Like I said to Chris earlier, I've had ex-boyfriends that, we may have broken up, but the point is, their children that I got close to, I always treated my own, and to this day, I still love them, and if I see them, I still, Dom, my ex-boyfriend John, he works at a store I went in the other day. I hugged him. I know, 6 foot, but anyways, I still love him, and he's still considered like my bonus child, as Jada Pinkett said. He's a bonus child. He always they call me mom, and it's just you don't look at stepchildren burden. They're a bonus to your life. They really are.
Right.
Thank
exactly.
God she only had one kid. Can you imagine if she had two? And you know what freaks me out? She put this crazy Google in about real parents or something being more important than your nails. Well, look at T. She's about as materialistic as you can get. So who was she talking about?
Projection.
Yeah, I assume Landon, but I mean, obviously she was very jealous of Landon, so
yeah.
Projection.
Yeah.
So so as we know, of course, Gannon was found. Do you think because he was found kind of just off the side of the road, wasn't he? Was it on the underpass? He wasn't found in the water, was it? The suitcase wasn't found in the water.
No, was it under the bridge?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you think maybe it was just tossed out of a window, or has it passed, or? I
think she pulled up and threw him over, but I've lived in Florida 5 years. My whole family, I'm the oldest, but my parents and both my brothers all live in Florida. My parents and my brother Paul live in Sarasota. My brother Stephen lives in Lakeland. And I lived there a few years, like 5. And I can tell you, Florida is one of those weird places where you can walk by a little overbridge or a river and it's full one day, and because of the weather, 3 days later it's dry. So I think she saw water and thought he was out to the ocean. And I firmly believe God stepped in and took that suitcase and pulled it right up on the bank.
Yeah, so glad he was found.
Yeah.
Mainly for the parents, really. But obviously, it's gonna there's gonna be DNA evidence and what have you, isn't there, in the autopsy and forensic evidence,
Yes,
which is going to come
it's
to light.
It's also going to help.
It's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard to hear because we're probably going to find out exactly what happened to Paul Gannon. So it's going to be a hard read, that's for sure. We're going to know whether
the hardest thing for a parent is to hear that your child's been murdered. I think that almost hearing how the other stuff, it's probably just as bad, but probably not as bad as the words. Your child, I remember watching the news conference and I specifically, zoomed in on Landon. And when they ever said, we don't believe, Gannon's alive, I mean, when her head just dropped. Is that her aunt or her mother, the lady with the blonde hair?
But it's her aunt.
Her aunt. I literally, and I hate to admit this, being a masshole, I'm going to ruin my reputation. I had to get a Kleenex. I was crying. I'm like, I cannot imagine, because even after that, until they found his body, they still, like law enforcement said, they still had the hope that he was still alive. I think the rest of us, I knew from day one, he's dead. I mean, for me, it was just, she killed him. We all knew it. But his parents, you know, I have children. I wouldn't think that. But this teabag, she's a contradiction in reality. That's really how I can describe her, and I think that describes her the best. All her stories are a contradiction of reality, and I hope to God that her defense lawyers don't come up with some. I don't know where they're gonna go. I just don't. I don't know. I'm glad she kept running her mouth, because how do you defend that stuff? If she hadn't kept talking, they could have said she didn't know he left the house, even though it wasn't on video. You know, juries, look at Casey Anthony. So I'm glad
Yeah.
she prosecuted herself, I think.
I mean, the only way I could even see them going is that she had some kind of psychotic break or something. But I mean, I don't think it's going to help her any. So
Insanity. Right. And the only thing with psychotic break or insanity is you have to not cover up the crime. See, that's the thing.
right.
If she had come home that day and killed him and called police and said, you know what, my stepson, whatever, I flipped out, I hit him with a whatever, and I killed him. You know, it would have boded a lot well for her. But when you're a murderer, the thing about them is that's why they're all narcissists at their core. Their main thing is getting away with it and continuing with their life. That's why, like you said, Kim, right around this time, and Chris said she's still texting, finding a husband, because it's all about moving on with life. Yeah, that's what makes it really sick. And who wants a tea bag to somebody? I know I don't. I'm an asshole. She's lucky she's not in my life, because she wouldn't have made it to jail. I would have taken that. Lucky Landon didn't get a hold of her, like her aunt said. She wouldn't have made it.
I know.
I wonder if in her warped mind that attack on the officer was some way in her head a start of some kind of insanity plea or something. You know, oh, look at me, I'm crazy, I'm attacking the officers.
Well, I think it was reality hit her, Chris. Reality hit her.
Either way, yeah.
In the car. They just arrested her, and she's like, "Oh my God, she's not a dumb." I don't know how to say this, because she is dumb and she's not dumb. But a moron said to herself, "Oh my God, everything I said is contradicted. I am screwed," and she's mad, and so she attacked the officer. I don't think she was going for insanity. I think reality absolutely slapped her in her evil-eyed, teabagged face. I think that's exactly what hit her. Even like when you know, it's all about what people think. Even in court, she's got her lawyer in front of her. She's trying to hide.
Trying to hide.
One glance at those eyes, Kim. I asked Chris this earlier. Have you ever seen such evil eyes in your life?
I can't deal with the eyes. It's like in every picture where you get a still frame of her. Yeah, no, it's very creepy.
I want to stick ice pick in my own friggin' eyes. I really do. The evil is palpable. It is absolutely, it's palpable. And it's not that she cares as much. Well, I don't know. She's hiding just to give the finger to everybody. But I am so glad that Alan Landon were there to side-eye her.
Yeah, that must have been so hard. That must have been so hard for Alan Landon to sit
but you know what?
And look at her.
Felt really bad for him.
I can see what I would do on Landon's face, because I'm a strong woman and Landon's a strong woman. The look Landon gave her, a side eye, was the same look I would give, like, you know something, bitch? You might have killed my son, but you won't kill me. Because that's what gets them. Her main thing was like you said, Chris, the word bitter about Landon. She was pissed at Albert because he was going to divorce her teabag, sponging ass. And when you realize that when Landon had the exact look I would give her, you are not going to destroy me. You are, and my child, his story, as she said, is magnificent. And he is magnificent. You look at the amount of people that boy has touched. I mean, I always love my children, but I'll tell you, I call them a little more often. I love them a little bit more. So Teabag doesn't like that stuff. But Landon gave her the best look, and so did Al.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to destroy me, because that's what she wanted to do, right, Kim?
Right. And I think Landon wanted to let her know too that she's gonna do everything she can to make sure justice is served. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the look.
And the prosecution as well, DA, is it Michael Allen? He seems to, really determined that.
He hasn't lost the case, and he's not cocky. Casey Anthony, her prosecutor, God bless him, got cocky. Michael Allen won't make that mistake.
Do you think there'll be a plea deal? Well, he doesn't sound like he's interested in any kind of plea.
I don't think he needs one. I don't think he needs.
Now that they found Gannon, probably not. Yeah.
Chris Watts. And I hate to give Chris Watts any credit, but I will say this realistically. I do give Chris Watts credit that at least he spared that family a trial, and he did clear Shanann's name. But
even if he probably did it to benefit himself, it's still, it still benefited others too.
That penalty, but yeah, it was to clear his conscience. But I will say, at least he did it, and
yeah,
I hope you take it as how I'm saying it. But Teabag, I don't think Chris Watts had one iota more humility than Teabag, because Teabag doesn't, maybe because it was Chris's own children he killed, and to her it's a stepchild. To me, I felt the same love from, my boyfriend's kids. I do my own children. But Teabag never should have had any kids, let alone stepchildren. No. Holly seems like in spite of her, a God-fearing, what a beautiful girl. I mean, really. Right. She seems really the opposite of her mother. And that's a testament to God that you can be raised by a Teabag. And even with Teabag, I don't know if you noticed when they were on, it was some hike. It was like when something was closed down. Just the look on T's face and the way she answered, she's just so cold and like phony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, she must have had, she had to be able to fool some of the, the people around her at some point, because I mean, even Landon said she trusted her. So she must have fooled them,
Well, Landon trusted her, but there was also, I think it was Plunder, who, I wasn't a big fan of before, but she's done some pretty good work now, and she's pretty even keeled. And she put on it was a call from Landon and Al, and they were having an argument, and she's like, well, T does everything, and she's taking care of all these kids. And, so she did at some point appreciate that T was carrying the bulk. Although she didn't think that because she's taking the bulk, she's going to kill her kid. And I think Landon is an approachable enough person that T could have called her, but she was like reaming Al out. She's like, you're always away. And, T's like, she's doing everything for these kids. And I think that spoke volumes to, I know T was probably doing a lot, but you know what? I'm a mother and I do a lot for my kids, but I would do the same for my stepkids. So, but I thought it was interesting to listen to the call, because Al is kind of one of those denial people, because he's like, well, why are you yelling at me? Well, she's yelling at him because she doesn't feel like he's spending enough time with his children, and T's getting the bulk of it. And that's from her own mouth and his own mouth. So,
it was an argument between Al and T?
No, it was Al and
Landon.
And if you go to Plunder, you'll hear it. It's their voices. That's them. And she's like, you need to step up, and you need to T's doing everything for these kids. And
I see.
She hung up on them. And I'm not trying to say anybody's right or wrong, but what happens is, especially when you're in the military, you have to be away from home. But that on the flip side provided T with the house she had, the car she had. She wasn't working half the time because of her background, got her nailed. But I don't think I'm defending her. I'm trying to say the reality is T is not the type of person who has enough love in her heart, because at 28, she's looking for a sugar daddy, to be selfless. I'm this type of selfless person, and a lot of people in chat, I don't know them personally, but I can tell by their comments, they're the type of person that would take a stepchild and love them as their own. T is not that type of person without something in it for her. And so, but Landon was even admitting she was doing a lot, and Al was away a lot. But, I don't want to start bashing on Al.
Well, I mean, but also
she was acting kind of resentful, or she might have hit it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I wasn't there.
She also, helped fight to get custody of the kids, right? Like, I mean, T wanted the kids, supposedly.
Right. but that's the tea bag in her. There's tea in this tea bag, and the tea bag person is like, I think T
That's
had
all
a
for
wicked
show.
love-hate relationship with Landon. You know what I mean? I think it was a love-hate relationship. I don't know how it started, and I give Landon credit because she trusted this woman and she was decent to her, even though she basically had an affair with her husband. I think Landon is an extremely upstanding, quality person. I mean, I cannot
Yeah, I
express
agree.
how much respect I have for that woman. I can't.
Yeah,
Me
It's
too.
immeasurable.
I think it's come out they were actually friends at some point.
They
Mm-hmm.
were, and she still
Yeah,
slept with her husband, and
yeah,
Landon still forgave her, and but she tried to say to Al, I'm acknowledging that T is overwhelmed and that she's doing everything. Even as a regular parent, no one parent should be stuck doing everything. And I'm not saying that's an excuse for murder. I'm saying we all need to watch for signs that somebody's being overwhelmed. And T was obviously complaining. Look at her Google. If she was Googling that stuff, she's complaining to Al, and he's working. He's thinking, I'm working. I'm trying to support this house, your car. You know what I mean? So it doesn't happen in a vacuum, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I just
yeah,
don't understand where people
I'm
think
sure
that.
Al feels like shit. I can't imagine how guilty he feels. So I don't want to dump any more guilt on him than I have to. I'm just trying to explain the situation.
yeah.
Right.
I know where you're coming from. So I think I don't know when does she appear in court next. I think it's just a formal hearing, but I think it might be. I think it might
So
be
Was
like
next
April,
month
that after
April
the
sometime.
attack? Oh
11th
yeah, it was on
or
the deputy attack road.
Yeah, of course this is going to be
Teabag
a
attack.
yeah. Of course this is going to be a multi-state event as well, isn't it? It's going to involve various states. I mean, these things take a long time to get to trial as well, don't they?
yeah.
Long time.
It does. Well, unless, I think her defense attorney is going to drag it out because I think they, just reading some of the discovery, they're going to say, oh shit, this is bad. So
Yeah.
their only defense is going to be to try to drag it out, but you can only drag it out so long.
Yeah, I wonder if any more information will come out. And it's weird these things get leaked, isn't it? Who do you think leaks these
Mm-hmm.
things?
Yeah.
Who do you think leaks these things out? Someone's got to. Do you think it's done intentionally or?
I mean, I wonder, were they planning to release it the next morning
Yeah.
anyway? I wonder, or the
Oh, were
next
they?
day?
Sit
I
and
don't
it,
know, but they did release it the next day, so I'm just curious. But I mean, it came, it was
I think they were
released
going
or
to release
leaked
it,
Thursday
but
night.
yeah, no, they're going to release it, but I think our defense attorneys at this point are just like, shit, there's not much, we can't do too much to rehabilitate. How are you going to rehabilitate T-Bag? With her own words, with her own interviews. Chris had brought up maybe trying an insanity defense, but that ain't going to work because she covered up the crime. So, I mean,
I don't think it'll work. She might try it.
she might try it, although she'd be laughed out of court. You know,
I mean, she's insane, but
yeah. Well, she's
not
evil.
that kind of insane.
Well, insane people, like I said to Chris, would have called. Well, what you would have done was killed him and left him in the bed, and not thought you did anything wrong. But
Right.
cover up the crime is where you're, it's premeditated when you try to cover up the crime. So T-Bag, thank God I don't drink tea because I would think of her every time I took out a tea bag, but I drink coffee. She was
I
obviously
know, right? I do drink tea.
water. All I can think of when I hear tea bag is somebody soaked her brain in hot water, because when you try to say Eduardo raped you and that he threw Gannon up against the wall, and then this other guy, pick one story. I mean, now that you
Well,
already
she
realize,
couldn't be. I think whenever some kind of evidence came out, that went against whatever her story was, she just made up another story. Like that was just going to work.
you're right, Kim. It's not about logic. It's about at the moment.
Yeah, be
Yep.
interesting which story she comes out with. If when it goes to trial, which story she's going to
Yeah.
go with. I mean, it's
Could be a new story.
yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Really. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what
I
happens
hope
and
they
where it
let
goes.
her read
Really.
the discovery, because when she reads Discovery, it might dawn on her that she's not going to win. Maybe she'll plead guilty. I doubt it, because Teabag is, it's not about what's right. It's not about what's wrong. It's not about how they can prove. Teabag is, I can just picture her, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but I can just picture her now sitting in a cell. She somehow got her hands on an envelope and a stamp, writing to guys, looking for somebody to help pay her commissary. She just seems like that type of person.
Yeah, he's probably right.
Good Lord.
Probably right.
Need some tea bags.
Yeah.
When you put money in my commissary. You know, and even when she killed Al's son, she was talking to him. I mean, I just realized recently that law enforcement was setting up calls, you know, to get her to talk.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine killing somebody's son and talking to him. I mean, and then like she said, she goes, well, I told Al that Eduardo story because I thought that's what he wanted to hear. It's like she knows she's backed into a corner. She's sitting there, and I'm telling you, this is one thing I know of her. She's sitting there now going, F-U-C-K. I absolutely, now she's looking at everything going, I am absolutely screwed. I am absolutely screwed. And I'm sure her lawyers have told her this is absolutely not going to be easy to defend. Not going to be. From your own, I mean, that's if her lawyer doesn't die of the coronavirus. That one was coughing so bad in the courtroom, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was bad.
A few people commented on that, actually.
Freaking Luden's cough drops or something, man. And then she's like, yeah, she's trying to talk about it. And I'm looking at Tiga. I'm looking at Tiga, and T's looking at the camera, and I'm like, anybody in this world, because I'm a Christian, that ever says, what does the face of evil look like? That is it. Absolutely right there. You don't need to see nothing.
No.
That is the face of evil. They're so black and so evil. I mean, my God, I really feel like I want to throw up looking at her. I mean, as a Christian, my soul gets so upset because she's so evil.
She is.
Just imagine how Al and Landon feel. I mean,
I think Al feels the worst because he's like, I married this bitch.
Yeah, but he mentioned it's a burden he's going to have to bear for a long time, isn't it? He said, you know.
Well, he's got regrets. I'm sure he's looking back going, you know, and what bothers me, and I'm only bringing it up because it's been all over YouTube, is like a lot of like family members of Landon and why Al's getting bashed. And I don't agree whether it's true or not. I think someone's already suffering, so don't add to it. But what happened was a lot of Landon's family members come out and aunts or whatever and said, yeah, well, she said that, you know, she used to call my nephew stupid and retarded. Well, why is this kid with somebody calling somebody stupid and retarded? You know, my ex-husband just recently got remarried, and God bless his current wife. He's a cheater and a piece of shit. But anyways, they just recently took in my son, and she's very good to him, and that's all I care about. I would give her like the most kudos in the earth, and I'm gonna say, Lisa, you're a saint because you're helping out my kid. But yeah, that's disturbing, like right there. I mean, you know, people don't want to get into family dynamics. They want to say she's evil and that's it. And yeah, and that's true. But sometimes people, when you're working, you're looking the other way, and you're not paying attention to things. And if this is true, if she's calling the kid retarded and stupid, he shouldn't have been in that house.
No, I mean, I would imagine she wasn't doing that in front of Al. I mean, who knows? But if he was gone from the house a lot, you know.
Yeah, he seems protective, but somebody in that family knew that because the aunts are coming out saying he called him stupid, retarded, and all this other stuff. So I'm just bringing up the point that people in that family knew that he was being treated like that. Why is he in that house? No child.
Who said that? It was people in T's family?
It was one of Lyndon's aunts, close aunts.
Okay.
And she was being sincere, and she's like, I don't think she meant it she was just trying to be honest, but I think it like caught up to her because she's like, oh, that's right, T, you know, you're a great stepmother, but you called my my nephew stupid and retarded and this and that. So now people are getting on the family and they're saying, well, why is he in a house that someone's calling him stupid, retarded, and other things? But I'm here to say, whether that was true or not, and it's a horrible thing, a child is dead. And blaming people who did the best they could, who maybe didn't take it as serious as they could, is not the appropriate thing, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
It's not the thing
Right.
that people need to be focusing on, is it? It's like you say,
I
a
have a lot
child's
of
dead.
respect for Al
No.
and Landon, that they came together. I know they love their son. And you know something? None of us as parents.
It's obvious.
I know Chris has children. Was I the most perfect parent in an abusive marriage? No. But did I abuse my kids? Never. But you know something? Anything that was wrong or bad, all you can do is apologize for. But that's all you can do. Nobody wants to live. You can see it on Al's face. He feels absolutely shitty and heartbroken that he probably saw stuff that now seems like a red flag, that when you're trying to work, you got to go away. You just have to overlook. But none of us are perfect. Nobody in this earth is perfect. So
Absolutely.
I'm
Right.
only saying that because that was said, and people are getting on the family now. Like, well, if he was listen, this child, we all know, is dead, and he was a gorgeous little G-man, and his parents loved him. That's all you need to know. They did the best they could in the situation they were in. And I hate to see people downing, and you'll never see me down. I may say this is what I heard, or this is the circumstances, but I'm not going to judge either one of them. You can see it on those two parents' faces. They love their little G-man. We love their little G-man. And don't criticize those people. Don't.
No.
Yeah.
We could all be in that position, and thank God we're not.
Yeah. Not interested in putting families down and that kind of thing. It's just not interested in that at all. I think
Letecia had a decision. She wasn't, like you said, Chris, she's looking up all these sites. She wasn't happy in her marriage. And I don't
She should have left. She should have just left.
Exactly him. And I don't think it had anything to do with Landon. I mean, with Gannon. I think she had residual jealousy about Landon. And I think she was playing false and being a fake with Landon, acting like nicey. What you do is, they say keep your enemies close, keep your friends closer. I think because she was jealous of Landon, she acted nicey, and Landon defended her. And God bless that woman. But the point is, T was looking for a sugar daddy to take care of her. She wanted to be paid for watching kids. Chris, has anybody ever paid you for watching your children?
No.
I mean,
No. Just sums her up,
I
really,
mean,
doesn't it?
she's complaining about being treated like a babysitter, but yet she's looking to be a big, that's what she's searching for. She wants to find a man to pay her to watch.
I want to be paid. But Al is paying her. She's living in a house that most of us would kill. She's driving a car. She's dressed in Louis Pulitzer. She don't look like she's wanting for nothing. Her refrigerator is full. I mean, a lot of us have a lot less than that and are grateful. And T's sin is that she was an unhumble, ungrateful bitch. That was her
whatever
problem.
Her issues are, she took them out on an innocent child.
Absolutely. That's what I said to him. I agree with you 1000%.
Yeah, that's the bottom. That's the bottom line in all of this, isn't it? So, well, we're gonna have to wrap it up, guys, because what have we done? We've done 2 hours 20, 2 hours 25. Time flies so fast when we're doing this. Yeah.
Wow.
What an awesome conversation. I can't see the chat, and I'm sure there was some. I'll look back because there's some amazing people, but we have the
hey everybody.
Thank you, Chris, for all your hard work. You did a superb, outstanding job with the timeline, right, Kim?
Yeah, I need to go back. I missed the first hour, so I'm definitely going to go back and listen.
Yeah,
he did
a good job.
He did a bang up job on the timeline, and because it's really hard to cage this information, because T is a teabag who's batshit crazy. And so it's really hard to make it sound like it makes sense, because she makes no sense.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a confused, jumbled mess.
Spins a web of lies. Yeah, exactly. I'll put it into probably put it into a video anyway, so it's just in video form, so people can just watch
Okay.
the video version of it. But no, it's been great having you both on, getting your perspective on things. And
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
it's,
And you know what? Everybody in the chat, I can't see you because I'm on my phone, but you know what? And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I really do. I love each and every one of you. If anybody, seriously, with all this coronavirus going on, is having a hard time mentally, please private message me, I'll call you, give me, seriously, your phone number, because I've been through a lot in my life, but I'm a very strong person and I will help anybody any way I can. I mean that. And thank you, Chris and Kimberly. I love you guys. You're just
Yeah, me too.
you too.
Right.
You too, Kim.
Yeah, same here too, guys. If anybody ever wants to message me, most people know anybody can message me on Facebook. And it was good talking to you guys, and I love you all, and see you later, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Chris. Yeah, great show.
Bye.
Great
Thank
podcast.
you.
Don't be a teabag. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Love ya.
Right, there we go, guys. So, yeah, I mean, there's just so much to go over, isn't there? Really, in this case, as it moves forward, and it's going to be interesting if as it moves on, as it potentially approaches trial. What more stuff's going to come out as well. I imagine there's going to be more information that's going to appear as things happen, as they do. But yeah, it's just trying to unlock the mind of somebody as evil as that, isn't it? She clearly thought she had a plan. She clearly thought she was doing well and she would be able to deceive everybody. But of course, as we know, she was just putting her foot more in it. But there are still quite a few questions about the affidavit and what they got right and what they haven't, because I'm sure they haven't got everything 100% right. Did Gannon return with tea, as they say, or didn't he? It's something that people are going to debate for quite a while, I think. So, but anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks to True Helper for looking after the chat while Kimberly and Firefly have been on. Thanks very much for coming in and listening. I hope you found it interesting. As I say, I'll probably put just the timeline and the facts just down in the video just to make it a diluted version, really, an easier to go over version of what we've talked about. So yeah, much love to everyone, and enjoy the rest of your week, and stay safe, and I'll speak to you all again soon.